Hello, my name is Marcus. I'm the compiler of a collection of therapy quotes entitled 1001 Windmills of the Mind, a collection of advanced self-help quotes taken from what's often called the psychodynamic or the psychoanalytic perspective, which long ago, as I understand, was referred to by some as philosophical medicine or narrative medicine. Once again, to borrow a line from the singer Steve Perry, was a song entitled For the Love of Strange Medicine. Can we borrow his song title off his second solo album by that title as well? Because these quotes are strange. They're strange. Oh boy, they're strange. And that's been sort of the theme for the past two videos. Try to emphasize how strange these quotes are. They're strange. They're strange. I just did a take one. I had to cancel it. I was talking about it there as well. This is take two, by the way. Yeah, little hiccup there. So yeah, I was saying in take one, you know, they're strange because they're helping us to know ourselves. But it's strange because when you say know thyself, the famous injunction that's been around for a long time, not just with Socrates or whoever, in one form or another, that perspective has been around for 10,000 years, however it was phrased in different languages all around the world. There was this sense that we need to look in the mirror, like Michael Jackson says, to have some kind of awareness of ourselves. Because most of our self, the real self, the authentic self, the true self, that's really, we're really meant to live out of that kind of place, this authentic self. That's one way to think about the phrase inside out. When you have that kind of beingness, you have the feminine element, the feminine principle, the yin, the shakti, the midnight blue, this embodiment, this like that. And when you have that kind of beingness, your feelings are there. Your basic primary feelings are there. So you can hold your feelings. It's a warm feeling, basically. And it's it kind of hums or something. And it's a pleasant feeling to have your feelings. I feel, therefore I am. And people often say, who am I? Well, what do you feel? Well, there's who you are. Like, but we mean the basic feelings. We don't mean the visceral sensations of the survival brain. When there's trauma, we go back to that. We're talking about the basic primary feelings with joy and sadness representing the physical film inside out. Joy and sadness, kind of like the golden ball, the radiance. So the storytellers often, in a myth or fairy tale, to talk about the loss of these feelings, they might say the golden ball went down the well or something, or the golden ball's locked in a cage, or you know, that's the component of the authentic self and the natural animating expression, the warm kind of vibrancy that comes out of your beingness. They would describe it like the sun irradiates, so they would use the golden ball like the sun irradiates, a warm kind of thing like that. So interesting idea about that. So in myths or fairy tales, the loss of the real self can be done in three ways, basically. They can refer, if they refer to the beingness, it implies the golden ball's missing. If they refer to the golden ball missing, it implies the beingness is missing, exiled and all that. Or sometimes they're both identified, like Rapunzel. She's a metaphor or personification of a person's beingness, and all that golden hair is like the vibrancy of our feelings, like that. Like when you see Snow White, you don't see the golden ball, but it implies that the golden ball is missing. So Snow White is also a personification of our beingness, like that. In the Iron John story, they're kind of together, but they're separated, but they're both locked in a cage, like that. So by the way, in that Iron John story, how does the person get back their beingness, their embodiment, the Iron John character, the Wild Man character, and the golden ball feelings? They're kind of meant to be together like that. The protagonist had to get the key. Where was the key? Under his mother's pillow. Okay, that means we got to identify the secret that the mother used the baby to meet her needs. That secret's under her pillow, meaning her unconscious, dark, unknown, unconscious, repressed key, like that. And that's why the person's soul is locked in a cage. Actually, one quote coming up, this one here in the next video. I'm going to mainly do a preview of 2890 because I already did these quotes you're going to see here below. I kind of discussed it a fair bit already in the last video. So if you want a discussion of 2889, kind of refer to the last video done at this very spot. I kind of spent some time on it. It's mainly on narcissism. So since I kind of covered it, I thought in this video I have a little overlap here. I'm going to do a preview of the next video, 2890. And the last one there says, it concludes with this one here, quote by Levin and Scholes. So many of our clients have had the experience of being valued So many of our clients have had little experience of being valued for themselves as separate and separating individuals who have something to offer. Their needs have so often been subsumed under the needs of others. Very common experience. Mother has a baby. Mother is not emotionally available for the baby. The mother has so much pain from her past. She's trying to get her needs met from her past. She didn't get love that maybe she didn't get the love that she needed back in her past. That's kind of unresolved for her, unfinished business with her. And that memory is, that pain is recorded. Part of the brain doesn't know time. All the energies in there, all the eros is there, all the life forces in there. And so the present is just, she's going to pull in the present to the past, or she's going to transfer the past to the present. And the present just still basically the past emotionally. Yes, materially she understands the present to the present, but she's relating to it kind of like this unresolved issue of the past. So the mother might say, have the baby, and says, mother's rights, I have this entitlement to get my needs met. Okay, all babies have that entitled right to be loved by the mother, but if the mother didn't get it, she has a baby, she may pull that in. She may feel at last. This guy just standing right beside me. Let's wait a minute here. Yeah, by the way, this unique arrangement is just very limited, for a limited time only, I think. The mall here is doing an extended part, and it's not fully open. Well, it's partially open. There's only one shop, or maybe two, open above, one or two below. So it's not really fully open. I don't think people really realize it's like an extended mall here like this. So when all the shops open, I'm sure they'll be kind of busy like that. And then all the people will want to stand and look at the window or something. It's got a nice little view here, up the park like that. So this is just a temporary setup here. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun outing for me. I take the Sky Train. There's a Sky Train there. Get to the mall. I walk to the mall. There's a nice coffee at the Blow place. Yeah. By the way, for the price of half of this coffee, I kid you not, for the price of half a cup of coffee, one can get these 10,000 quotes here. By the way, I just noticed, yeah, they have this coffee company, or this cup company, or they have a little a jingle, a little slogan there. Cover it up here. It says here, can you get it there? Sorry. It says, our interests create the environment. I just noticed that. Our interests create the environment, inside out, as above, so below. So the environment is a reflection of our inner state. Our inner state is going to create the environment to be a reflection to know our inner state. As above, so below. So I'll talk about that slogan in a minute. Okay, so let's get back on track here. Yeah, let's continue on this theme that these are strange quotes because they're helping you to know yourself, to accept yourself. But wait a minute, when you say self, what self are you talking about? A person might have a false self, a defensive self, a mask, a persona, which they use to live by. Is that the self? Is that what it is? This defensive self? Or wait a minute, is there like a feeling self? The ontological, the sense of self, the beingness self? Well, where's that? What do you mean, know thyself? Well, there's two selves there. The false self is a defensive structure to make you unaware of the pain of the loss of the true self. So we got these two selves, basically, the conscious self and the unconscious self. The unconscious self is basically all that are about you that couldn't develop. It couldn't be a part of you. The gifts and the treasures that you were given by the Great Spirit, you couldn't express it because it was undeveloped, stunted development, development arrest, okay? Arrested development like that, it couldn't develop into you. So when you look at the Snow White image, there's like a wall there in that glass box, right? Your beingness doesn't connect to you. There's like a wall there, you know, and plus Snow White's in an emotional coma to boot. So she's in a deep sleep like that. So it's not fully alive to you, and the wall is there, and it's far from you, like a huge gap like that. So in response to the pain of the loss of the true self, the being self, we got to survive somehow. So the brain engages in what's called defense mechanisms. Okay, the famous expression defense. He means psychic defenses, mental defense, mechanisms of the mind, maneuvers of the mind, operations of the mind called psychic defenses. And these tricks or maneuvers in the mind manage to make the person unaware of the pain. Okay, all defense mechanisms are done to make you unaware of the pain of losing your real self, your authentic self, your true self, your beingness, your embodiment, your feelings, your golden ball, and so on. And you're living this kind of shallow life, and you feel like in a trance, because when there's pain, the brain sends you endorphins. Now you're in a swoon. Now you're sleepwalking through life, going through the motions of life, feeling like you're living the provisional life, the unlived life, like you're in a trance. One guy joked, he said he's always drunk his whole life. He doesn't eat beer because he's just automatically drunk, mildly disassociative kind of thing. So this is we're missing something like that. Now, yes, with this defensive self, with this false self that we create, okay, which is like a bundle of mechanisms that you customize for yourself, I guess. And it's going to depend on where the trauma takes place. If it's before 18 months, basically, or if it's post 18 months, sort of in that stinger clinger area. So before 18 months, there's more tricks going on because there's more pain going on, more defenses going on, identification with aggressive trans logic, scapegoating, emotional triangle, protective identification, splitting, reaction form. There's more activity going on like that. And that's because you're always trying to flip around to not feel the pain, make you unaware of the pain. So that might be manic or something, or blame others all the time, prejudice all the time, keep busy all the time, create symptoms to distract you. Sarno says your symptoms can distract you, the emotional pain. So there's a lot more going on when the trauma is before 18 months. The main one being you become the mother and treat others the way your mother treated you, and they hate the ones you just treated badly, who played you, because now you play yourself and you hate your mother, and you see the one you just treated who played you is not suddenly your mother who hurt you. Now you're angry at your mother. So it's this flip-floppy thing going on, because that part of the brain the baby sends called primary mentation, primary process thinking. Okay, the cat in Alice in Wonderland says, oh yes, this mentation is wild and mad like that. No, don't expect normal, reasonable secondary process mentation logic in this unconscious world. This is like Alice says there, up is down, left is right, flip-flop, topsy-turvy. There's all this magic stuff. This can turn into that can morph into that, shape-shifting, morphing, twisting, up is down, left is right, magic mirrors, hollow mirrors, and things can condense, something's new, that can represent that meant that, no, that meant that, hollow mirrors, house of mirrors, topsy-turvy, up is down, and this is wild stuff like that. Things are exaggerated, it's mostly images, and that's the mentation that the baby's in. Now think about that. If a person is traumatized they're operating out of that kind of mentation, and which allows them to survive, because they can always flip-flop and twist and blame and lie, and the pathological lying, they can't. So they won't be able to admit a feeling or something that's from the true self. So they're able to flip-flop, twist, blame. So they're very good with duplicity. They're very good with innuendo and flipping and pushing your buttons and distracting you. The way to confuse people is to maybe, if you confuse them, they leave you alone or something, or they feel helpless like a child, or you appeal to their unmet needs, so they feel drawn in to believe you. Or the best way to tell a lie is to include a few crumbs of truth in it. People are hungry for the truth, so they believe the lie. There's all sorts of rhetoric, propaganda, PR tactics, PR tricks, advertising tricks, advertising tactics, subliminal, and so it's very intuitive like that. Because they can't admit a feeling, they can't apologize, they can't make I statements, they can't pre-associate. They're just in this so-called survival anxiety all the time. So if they do something, and if someone points out to somebody their contradictions or their rationalizations of their excuse or why they're doing such things, they can dodge around. They can they'll fool you. They'll pretend that you said what they said. They go, what? Or they'll pretend that they said what you said. They go, what? So they can do all these little tricks like that. And then if someone says, of course there's no ability to feel, so there won't be any empathy, no apologies, no regrets, these kind of slogans. They're in jungle slogans like that if they're so traumatized. So that primary process mentation allows the person to do this hollow mirrors, now you see me, now you don't, catch me if you can kind of thing. So they won't admit a feeling, they won't admit an honest truth, they won't care about your feelings because they don't have their feelings. How can they care about your feelings? They never got enough love to even know their feelings, so they're not in a kind of place to know other. So love, gratitude hasn't really entered into psychological picture when the baby's traumatized so early on, before 18 months like that. And up till 18 months, all babies think it's all about them, infantile megalomania, glorified, little gods, little kings, the world is my oyster, it's all for them, they own everything, everything's for them, entitled like that. They're still in that kind of place like that. Well, it's only post 18 months when the child enters into the what Klein calls the depressive position, meaning like you'd feel badly if you hurt someone and you want to make amends. Things are more confused, there's more ambivalence, more confusion, the third side of the coin. And gratitude now has entered the psychological, is beginning to enter the psychological picture, okay, feelings for others and so on like that. But in the before 18 months, it's just all a continuation of what the baby felt in the uterus. Little king, little god in the uterus, all about him. Okay, it's solipsistic little bubble, little king, little god like that. And you know, the power of the mother, it's his power, he's autocratic like that. So he kind of has this delusional kind of thing. And he's blissed out by it, is considered an oceanic blissful feeling that the babies have. And that continues up until 18 months of age kind of thing. It starts to, it's mainly, it's sort of in subparts. The uterus life, the paradise, the Garden of Eden, the Shambhala, Shangri-La, Avalon, and all that. That's meant to continue sort of proper like that for the first 4 to 5 months after birth. And then it begins to slowly, as he begins to hatch out of the fusion, the symbiosis, merging, oneness, unico mystica, is all, psychology is one like that. He starts to hatch out of the egg. It's a gradual hatching for a psychological birth. And he practices, he's just beginning it, so it's not fully there yet. So between 4 to 5 months to 18 months, he still thinks the world is his oyster kind of thing. He thinks it's all about him, owns him, and doesn't know about other people's feelings like that. He thinks he's entitled like that. So that's narcissism, right? It's a blissful kind of feeling. So, but finally, 18 months, okay, the ego develops. He gets the reality principle that he's a person, others are people. And now he gets that we're all one big family, we're all traumatized, everyone loves or cries for love, but when they cry for love, they might do it in a flipped way where they find proxy to cry for love and treat them badly the way they were treated badly, to say that they were treated bad, to show the pain that they did. So they're demonstrating it by treating others the way they were treated, to say, look what happened to me. That's their kind of way to cry for love by. So they're hurting others to say that they were hurt. So things are complex now like that. But post 18 months, you kind of realize the three-dimensionality, that we're all human beings, that we're homo traumicus, homo dysfunctionalicus, homo neuroticus, homo secret psychoticus, homo PTSD-acus, post-traumatic stress syndrome acus, is that right? One guy called the homo economicus or celicus, because we're pillaging and plundering like that, because 10,000 years ago we traumatized ourselves. Hold on a sec. Oh, the sun is out. Yeah, I was here yesterday. It was overcast all day. Yeah, the sun came out today. Okay, like that. So it's going to be a hotter day. I'm thinking maybe I'll just keep it indoors today this time. It's still pretty hot, eh? Oh, I just learned about, oh my God, what a sad story. I didn't know this in Pakistan. In May of 2024, there was a heat wave, an exaggerated heat wave. It was up into the low 50s or something. And like in 1 month, 600 people just collapsed of heat, dehydration. They died of heat. And what a sad story, eh? We forget about that. Like we talk a lot about, you know, like in other areas about the effects of it all. Yeah, so the extra heat out there, that could be a reflection that a lot of people have a kind of a burning, biting feeling within, shame and rage at what happens to them. So we're heating things up as a reflection of the inner. I'm not sure if that example works. I'll pick up on that one either today or next time about this theory about as above, so below. Like for example, if there's pollution out there, that's a reflection of our inner state. We felt polluted, we felt unseen, unloved, hurt, ashamed like that. So we create it outwardly to make us unaware that it's in. It's called projection. When you see it externalized, it allows you to project, attribute that what you don't know about yourself, whereby it would be too painful to admit it. So when you see it out, so you create it so you can see it out, so you externalize it, make it happen on the out, so you can project your inner state on the out like that to distract it as within. So that's like the theory about as above, so below, inside out. There are several ways to use that phrase inside out. So I'm sort of referring to 3 ways that phrase can be used throughout the series here. Yeah. Yesterday was okay. Yeah, yesterday's video was okay. I did part of it outdoors in the park. I think the videos lately have been pretty strong all along. I think my delivery is getting a little better. I'm trying to cram in as much material as I can. Now, let me do my disclaimer once again. I have anxiety. I have not been analyzed. Okay, played Joni Mitchell's song "This Flight Tonight," made popular by Dan McCafferty. If I had the funds, I'd be on this flight tonight and find somebody like Masterson or somebody like that to do an analytic process. This first quote here kind of summarizes the analytic process right here. It's just a one-liner. This one line, I think this one line in a nutshell kind of summarizes psychoanalysis, the technique of it all, in one line. So bear with me because it takes a while to clarify it. Forgive psychology for its jargon, says Robert Bly, a guest mentor here. Please just forgive it. So go to the first line in 2890. It begins with, by means of free associations to his transference feelings, the client may arrive at the unconscious sources of them. Look at that. That one line kind of says it all. So you want to free associate. Free associate. Like you're repeating, that's the transference. Free associate. Get on the broccoli boat. Get back to the repressed feelings and have an reaction where you can now feel what you couldn't have felt, because now you can know what you could have known, because you do that when you're free associate. So go 2 videos ago I did a mini review of the Inside Out 2 film, the film of the year for 2024, Inside Out 2, by Pete Docter, whom I regard to be basically a soul doctor giving us these 2 films, Inside Out 1 and 2. So let's back up to the basic premise here. So where were we at the beginning? So we were talking about how these quotes are strange because they're helping us to know ourselves. But when you say know thyself, what do you mean know thyself? So yes, in response to the loss of the beingness and the true self, the authentic self, the embodiment, okay, and like Snow White, your beingness is exiled. That's when they show you the forest like that, the jungle, wild like that. That's kind of like the primitive part of the brain. You see, like the famous triune brain, the brain with 3 parts, the 3-in-1 brain. We have 3 brains, we have 3 minds, the brain with 3 parts. So our brain has these 3 parts. Buy one get one. Based on evolution. So the most primitive part of the brain, it's considered the limbic system, the mammalian part of the brain, like the amygdala, the brain stem, the spine, like that, the vagus nerve, and the tip of the spine, the almond shape, the amygdala, that kind of system like that. So that system, that part of the brain, it's not really about feelings, although we refer to the language of that as anger, fear, fear, anger, shame, disgust, psychosomatic symptoms, that kind of primitive stuff. Okay. We do use the words, we do refer to fear and anger like that as feelings and emotions. But technically, Janoff explains, technically speaking, it's more visceral stuff. It's more about the neurochemistry and the hormones, and it affects your breathing and your blood circulation and your posture and your tone of voice or something. It affects these physiological kind of things. So you get psychosomatic symptoms from there. Your anxiety is going to come from there, because anxiety means the old fears being triggered up again, and you're afraid, but you don't know what it is because you don't remember the old fears, but you're triggered. In life, you're triggered of the old fears, so you're afraid, and you want to be prepared, because as originally you weren't prepared. So in the Inside Out 2, you see the trailer there. Anxiety says, I prepare for the future. She means that in the future, you're going to be reminded of the mother. The mother's the prototype for the world. But if you were terrorized back then, remember, when the baby doesn't get his needs met, he thinks he's a goner. He's terrorized by that, obviously. So when you're reminded of the mother, okay, the idea is that you want to be more prepared this time. That's what she means. So this effort to be prepared of the memory of the old pain coming up, because remember, that part of the brain doesn't know time. All time is that time. So you're always reminded of that time, and all that immense fear is going to come up. So anxiety was always preparing manically. I got to prepare this, imagine this, prepare this, imagine this, prepare this. And it's exhausting, because you're not at that place. You're not a baby being abandoned, but you're kind of like, you're reliving the feeling what the baby felt, that he was going to be a goner like that. And you don't want that pain, so you want to prepare in advance to buffer it, to manage it, to survive it, to escape it, or fight with the mother. You're preparing these kind of things like that, called anxiety. So the language of anxiety is visceral sensations, psychosomatic symptoms, okay, sweating, and sometimes the person turns pale because the blood wants to protect the vital organs. So it's like survival kind of stuff, right? And when I speak, you see my anxiety, right? The stuttering, ums and ahs, and things like that. So I have anxiety, obviously. So my disclaimer once again, I have not been analyzed. So automatically that tells you I'm not a shrink because I'm not a therapist. The basic 101 requirement to be a therapist is that you've been analyzed. So I haven't been analyzed. So I'm not a professor, shrink, midwife, doula, nutritionist, gynecologist. I'm not a cultural anthropologist, historian, archaeologist, these kind of things. I only have a BA, keep that in mind. Okay, so like Robert Bly says, 30% of what you're going to hear is wrong. It's up to you to figure out which 30%. So this is brainstorming here, no set answer here. These are clues. We're brainstorming here, trial and error, stepping stones, prompts to free associate. Maybe some clues lead to better clues. We're just trying to be detective here, looking for clues. We're just trying to be detective. Okay, I borrowed that from the music above. I borrowed that from Donna Summer, I think, just now. Oh yeah, we did a lot of talk about songs lately. Oh my God. I spent a lot of time talking about some songs. There's a very good song by Do You Remember by Passion Fruit. We talked about that. Sad story about that band. Melanie Thornton's big hit, I Love the Way You Love Me. Very nice one, song. I was just thinking when I was in the mall here buying a coffee, if those two songs were on the overhead, they're very romantic kind of songs. They would be very soothing, romantic, you feel safe. When you feel safe, you want to, you have more ambitions or something, so you might go shopping more or something. And the other one is Do You Remember? That's like you're missing somebody. Do you remember me? Oh, I miss somebody. Oh, I remember. And you feel lonely when you buy stuff because you miss the person. I thought maybe those two might promote people buying shopping stuff, right? I'm not sure about the girls want to have Cyndi Lauper. Girls just want to have fun. I don't know if that's going to work. But they do have a very good song on this soundtrack called I've Never Been to Me by Charlene. It's about a she-wolf. In the 40s, they would call the female wolf, i.e. the female wolf, like instead of like the wolf for the Don Juan is sometimes called the wolf. So the female Don Juan was the Donna Juana, so that would be female wolf. But they didn't say female wolf. They said in the 40s she-wolf. I thought that was kind of funny. So she was a puella, female puer, okay, eternal youth. Don't want to grow up like Peter Pan. So there's a song called here, I've Never Been to Me. She was a puella, a playgirl, Peter Pan girl, she-wolf, narcissistic kind of thing. So she needed to fly around to reject men because the mother rejected her, and she never found herself. I've never been to me. Now in the process of her escapades, she brags about all the things she did. She's been to paradise, but never been to me, she says. So that's a good song. So if it plays in the background, we'll talk about it. I think I heard it when I was coming in, when I was walking in now. We talked about Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas, yeah. Last night I saw the news clip, the drummer of the band passed away or something, or retired or something, I don't know, something like that. So Carry On Wayward Son, we discussed that recently. But yeah, that One-Way Ticket. So we got some disco songs. It's funny, there's sort of a disco theme to the song portion of our discussion. Donna Summers up here, Cher's a pop singer, right? But definitely the Melanie Thornton is a love ballad. But that Passion Fruit is also a disco one, right? And then One-Way Ticket's a disco song kind of thing. Sort of like pop disco kind of songs. Okay, enough about that. Let's go back to the basic premise here. Let's pick up on the theme of how strange these quotes are. These are strange quotes. It's strange. It's strange because we feel estranged from ourselves. That's why it's strange, because we feel estranged from our authentic self. It's strange to us. We never had it. We don't remember it. We had it. We don't remember it. We lost it. We had our beingness. We had our golden ball. We lost it. Went into the bag, zooped away, okay, in whatever form it takes, and we want to get it back. So the golden ball went down the well, want to get it back. This core on the Greek myth got pulled down, you want to get it back to Persephone. Yeah, Odysseus wants to get back home to Ithaca's beingness, his inner home. Ithaca's an inner home that the feelings came back. Ithaca, Penelope, like that. I feel therefore I am. Okay, and then you want to get the key to free Iron John and the golden ball, etc. You want Rapunzel to come back to be reunited. You want the feelings to be reunited to the person. The person was empty, remember, and the feelings came back, everything's okay. When Snow White came back, everything was okay. So whatever form the personification or the image of your beingness takes, you want to get it back. Okay, you want to get it back kind of thing. So we had it, we lost it, want to get it back. Joyce had it, zooped away, you want to get it back. Okay, this pattern can be expressed in thousands of different little ways. It's all the same kind of thing. Even the ashes to the phoenix. So sometimes the soul turns to ashes. It's not gone, it's just ashes, right? So that's because the baby felt shame when the mother rejected him. Okay, so he felt shame. It's a burning, biting feeling. So hell is a metaphor for the emotion of shame, ashes like that. Plus he's enraged, so all this fiery stuff. So soul is into ashes. So, but the soul is not gone, because the phoenix can come from the ashes. The phoenix can rise from the ashes. That's the metaphor that nature we can heal. And the firebird, the red bird rises. The phoenix means when you can now understand and forgive the mother for what happens, whoosh, the firebird rises. The phoenix rises from the ashes. You get back your feelings, you can come alive again. So your feelings kind of flattened out, you can come alive again. Your feelings ashed out, you can come alive again. Feelings are exiled, it can come back to you. If the feelings are frozen, it can flow again. Or the feelings turned into a stuffed rabbit, it can be a human again. Or the feelings became a statue, it can come alive again. So remember in Alice One, primary mentation, all this magical flipping things are going on. So myths and fairy tales come from this primary mentation. Myths and fairy tales are a metaphor for trauma, psychological trauma. They're true on the inside, not on the outside. They're symbols. Symbols are not real, but they point to something that's real but invisible on the inside. You treat myths and fairy tales like dreams, you interpret them like dreams because they're products of the primary mentation. So that's maybe one way to say why these quotes are strange, because it's strange to, in that film called That Uncertain Feeling, the shrink said to the young lady, you know, you're getting these emotional, your blocked emotions are coming to you through your body like that. The body remembers, the body keeps the score, the body's telling the story. Mysteriously between emotions, the body, mind and body, she had this bodily symptom. That's from the stranger within you. This unknownness about you, the stranger within, he called it. This is the double self, the secret self, the shadow self, the unknown self, the one who walks with you, who's not like you, who is you, the stranger like that. So that's why we feel it's strange, because we're strange to ourselves like that. Like our authentic self is unavailable to us. We feel strange to ourselves. So a quote that's kind of strange, it's kind of like, it kind of reflects as above, so below. If these quotes are strange, well, we feel estranged within like that. So you want to make this little bridge like that, make a little link like that. We want to get back. We don't want to be strangers to ourselves, right? We want to get back our beingness. You want to get back your golden ball. You want to get back your embodiment. Then you're no longer a stranger to yourself. It's called healing and wholeness. The more connected you are to your beingness, your golden ball, you're more lined up, and your symptoms go away. But if your true self, your authentic self, your real self is far away like that, and then you develop the false self to cope with life, to pay the bills and drive a car, and you can still do things in the material world with your false self, but that's it. You're living in the world in a kind of material way, in a trance like that. And yes, you can still be successful materially, but you're missing your beingness, you're missing your feelings. Now there's an inherent pain by this split, true self, real self split. So there's an inherent pain by that. So the false self, you rely on the false self, now you have neurotic pride, false self, and you think that's your identity? Oh no, the false self is like the byproduct of losing your true self. It's a symptom of losing your true self kind of thing. So it's not, the false self isn't your real self. But some people think my false self is my real self. That's all I have. That's all I know. So they're very guarded about the false self, because they think if they don't have the false self, well, who are they, kind of thing. That brings up the feeling, that's going to trigger up the feelings of the fears you felt with the nursery. But you're an adult now, and you can hold it with the nest. So you're not you got to remind yourself you're not in the nursery anymore with your mother who's hurting you in the nursery time, and no one protected you and she abused you. You're not you got to keep yourself present and tell your own inner child of the past, look, I'm here now, and you got to self-repair yourself like that. Just make yourself conscious that what your feelings about the past, but you're in the present, but what your feelings about the past, but you're in the present, and try to hold it like a nest, like a basket, like a catcher's mitt. Okay, so psychoanalysis, we weave this ego, we weave this basket like that to make you more reality in the present than the feelings coming. So you want to lend your conscious reality to your past, kind of thing. Don't let your past make your conscious think you're still in the past. Then you don't heal. Hold on, so I'm still, these chairs are a little, unfortunately, I'm still trying to get used to these chairs. They're kind of, there's no option to make them straight. Like they're always like leaning back all the time. I find that I'm not used to it. It's a little uncomfortable. Let's let these people pass. Some people want to look out the window. Hold on a sec, let's just take a break here. Already, there's more people passing by already, right? Yeah, the one guy was very curious about me. He was just standing beside me there, watching what I'm doing. What's he doing? What's that guy doing? Little kind of thing. The wife said, "Come on, let's go." Thank you, wife. Thank you. So, if you were alone here, what are you doing? He just wants to feel important. Wants to make everything about him. Oh yeah, well, we talked about this issue. Why some people want to make everything about them. That's one of the symptoms of narcissism, this need to make everything about them. This constant need for so-called quote-unquote narcissistic supply like that. That's related to the missing symbiosis, the missing oneness phase that all babies need with the mother. And a lot of babies lose that at birth. Okay, the towel, separating, the cord removed, putting the baby on a scale. And when the baby's returned, the thing's broken, the attachment trauma, relational trauma. In 2 words, this is the summary of the whole issue here. Okay, drum roll please. Attachment trauma. This is what we're trying to heal from. This is the strange thing that's going on. Why are so many babies experiencing attachment trauma with their mothers? Well, the mother said, the mother doesn't feel it herself. She wants to objectify the baby. In an attempt to control the baby, thinking the baby can be used as a substitute or a symbol of the mother, where she didn't get the love because she was traumatized. It doesn't work. Intergenerational trauma. So we have a huge body material about this. The importance of the continuity of the mother-baby connection, the mother-infant dual unity. It's got to continue. This egg-like symbiotic fusion's got to continue for the first 4 to 5 months. The role of the father is to protect that delivery phase, hand the baby to the bosom, leave the smells, leave the hormones, the room is warm, let the continuity leave the cord, leave the placenta, Let the baby he'll find the nipple, she'll find the nipple like that, just place him there. He's looking forward, all of his energy, where is it, latch on, suckle, good. Skin to skin, okay, the mother, skin to skin, the emotion from the mother, picks up the emotions of the baby feels it, there's a rhythm like that. Okay, the nursing, the nerve lines between the baby and mucosal nerves, the nerves and the nipple, the mother, okay, you got the flow like, and the mother's loving gaze, so you got the body, suckling, and the gaze like that. Those three together provide the continuity of the mother-infant dual unity. It's kind of like an outer womb, an interpersonal womb, a social womb. The baby needs this paradise to continue for the first 4 to 5 months. That's broken. You see, all these problems come from there. That's an attachment trauma, traumatic failure. This is an insecure attachment style, to say the least. It's attachment trauma. It leads to a traumatic attachment. And he's got to give himself up, identifies as aggressive, treats others badly the way the mother treated him, and then hates them. And then he's false, he's got to be pride, he's got to protect it, he's got to hide it with rationalizations and excuses. And he's still in this infinite timeless loop that he didn't get mother's needs, he becomes her, finds proxies to play him, he shames them, then hates them. He's still with this unresolved battle with the mother like that. So we don't want babies to lose that bond with the mother, that attachment with the mother. Paging Dr. Bowlby. Actually, he's not the main guy. Actually, he gets all the credit, but actually, attachment theory was discussed way before him. I even saw Bergler talk about it, like before all that. Edmund Bergler and others, of course. I'm sure this has been talked about. Mothers have been holding their babies, nursing their babies intuitively, knowingly, instinctively, because they had their feelings. They don't need to read a manual how to nurse your baby. The mothers have feelings. They have the attunement. But when the baby's removed, mothers are confused. They run to the self-help bookstore. How do I feed my baby? What do I do here? They lost their feelings, and they're desperately trying to correct it. They're well-meaning like that, I guess. But that's a sign that they're traumatized. They lost their feelings. So mothers, ideally. Oh yeah, there's one song. There's one really annoying song on this soundtrack above here. It's part of the LGB propaganda thing, I think. So it's going to last for about 4 minutes or something. Maybe I can distract myself for 4 minutes or something. Oh, there's a lot of, we don't really have a thread on that kind of topic, but there is a lot of this. We have one quote on the LGBT propaganda, this stuff, and there's just bombarded all the time with it. Oh, there's that SkyTrain with no ad on him. Patreon.com/narrative medicine. Find your real self. I have this fantasy that on that SkyTrain there's an ad on there. Find your real self. Patreon.com/narrative medicine for the price of a half a cup of coffee, a third of a cup of a coffee, in some places a quarter of a cup of coffee, or even a half a donut. Oh my God, yeah, there's a donut shop in this mall. A long lineup of people wanting to buy this donut, this famous donut or something. I never heard of it. There's some kind of new donut out. People lining up to buy these donuts. My goodness, it's right beside the coffee shop. It has a lot of friendly imagery, and I can sort of see it. It has like a fun family, kids kind of feel to it. Yeah, there's that construction site I was talking about earlier. Yeah, so just like these guys are building the building, we want to build our ego. So we have 10,000 quotes to patiently build our ego, okay, meaning an ability to now know what we couldn't have known. Just like these guys have tens of thousands of little parts and bits and bolts and nuts and pipes and beams and barriers and blocks and cables and things to build this what I think is going to be a parking arcade or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, so when the child's traumatized, he can't know what happened. His ego isn't there yet to understand what happened, but it's known. The body knows it. The body keeps a score. The body remembers. Every body tells a story. It's known. It's implicitly known. But like the scarecrow, okay, there's no brain. He can't think it. It's the unthought known. The unthought known. It's known, but we can't think it. Like the scarecrow not having a brain, we can't think it, but it's known. The idea is to think it. So we need to be able to think it. We got to kind of construct this kind of brain like that, so that's what all these quotes are about. Just to experiment. Could it be this? Could it be this? Maybe this? Maybe this? Trying to like weave this little basket like that, and then with that speculation like that, maybe it moves towards. I think now I know. I think now I can know and admit what I couldn't back then. And if you can do that, there'll be a spontaneous, what they call abreaction, where you'll get the firebird, the feelings. Okay, Inside Out 2, those orbs came rushing back at the front. So you have free association to ride the boat, then the abreaction and the cables come up, and you got your sense of self. When you resolve the splitting, where it's from either or, no, it's a both and, a new thing, which is both and. Third side of the coin, the golden mean, the middle way like that. So in trauma, right, that's the scarecrow. Something happened, but we can't think it. The poor scarecrow guy. Okay, with trauma, like the Tin Man, we can't love anymore. We don't have the feelings, the heart, the feeling self is missing, empty like that. And the two being like that means the person's gonna feel disembodied. That's the cowardly line like that. It's all fragmented, like soul fragmentation with trauma. That's a pain like that, right? Can't think, can't feel, on a body, can't love, can't think. What a mess. So Dorothy's like part of the system, part of the psyche, part of the nature like that, to try to line things up, try to bring it all together, try to line it up, and the four of them were hopping along a yellow brick road. The gold came back when you line them up like that. And then you come back to the reality, and you find your home, right? Kansas was the home. Now you can go back home, which was Kansas, but you have to go on that journey to get back home. So you had the home, Kansas, you went to underconscious, Oz, you want to get back home. There's two. You want to make the unconscious conscious. You want to look for home. Just like Dorothy was trying to go home, Odysseus wants to go home. We want to find his inner home. These are not separate outer kind of things. Oh yeah, I think today's going to be, today's hotter, yeah, with the sun out. Yeah, I'm not going to do it today outside. If I go outside, I'll last like 10 minutes or something. Although these kids are able to play in the heat. Yeah, Jonoff was saying people who can, like these construction guys, and people run in the park, that means they don't have prenatal trauma. He was saying that at least one good thing that people have is if they have this kind of physical ability and ambidextrous, or good with sports, or good with music, or athletic or something, or you can run the marathon, that means you don't have prenatal trauma. So if you can dance and sing and you're balanced or something. But people with prenatal trauma often can't do what I see around me, what people are doing. So these folks here, I think, don't have prenatal. According to Jonoff, if I understand him correctly, he might say that these people don't have prenatal trauma. Because if you did have prenatal trauma, you'd be sweating, you'd collapse, and maybe the 600 people in Pakistan that dropped dead in the heat, maybe they had prenatal trauma. The most vulnerable, right? The most traumatized. What a sad story, yeah? Can you imagine that? Jesus. We talk about the monkeys dropping dead in the heat as well, right? What about got human beings? Jesus. So it's good that there's sort of an effort now being made to find new ways to stop dumping plastic in the ocean. That's just one contributing factor to all this heating. They say is all this 10 billions of tons of plastic waste dumped into the ocean. The ocean can't digest it. It gets like a fever, and it's too hot. And then now the water vapor's messed up, and it affects the things. And there's like a chain reaction kind of thing. So things are kind of heating up because the water can't reflect the sun because it's too hot or something. So the water's ability to reflect the sun is limited when it's too hot like that and too bubbly like that or something. with the vapor thing. I'm not a scientist about that, but we do have one quote from a scientist. This NASA guy, he quit his job, he said, because he realized what he was doing is just making things worse. So he quit his nice job and all that and spent a lot of time researching about the environment. He wrote this massive multi-thousand-page scientific thing. It's on his website from his university. I thought, you got it. Oh, I can't read that. I just jumped to give me the last paragraph or something. What's your conclusion? And the last sentence, this top scientist guy, you know what he said at the very end of it all? This is like one of the top scientists out there or something. The conclusion of all of his decades of research about the environment was this: treat the earth at least as well as you treat yourself. That was his conclusion. He's not a shrink, but he kind of scientifically came to a shrink-like statement. You know, like treat the earth in terms of self-awareness. Like treat the earth at least as well as you treat yourself. And then, you know, that lady said, you know, we're 70% salt water. Well, the earth is 70% salt water. Well, use that we're kind of like from the earth like that. You know, have that connection like that. What if the earth were unique? Title of a documentary. What if there's only one speck of dust that's the right distance from the sun? Not too far, not too cold, not too near, not too hard. Just that right spot for the conditions for oxygen, bacteria, and the muck and the microbes, and billions of years for evolution like that. And then they got the monkey line, the hominid line, the hominid line. Only one hominid grew the cortex. That was us. Let's have some evolutionary appreciation of the uniqueness of the situation. And the odds of any person being here are 1 in 400 trillion. A little appreciation of the Great Spirit. If you're here and the odds of you being here are 1 in 400 trillion, come on, we're all chosen by the Great Spirit like that. But people, so that healthy attitude in that sense is okay. But when people say, oh yeah, I'm special and you're not, okay, whoa. They're talking about their own soul, which they project onto others. They got to find a proxy to play how they feel, where they go back to the uterus where they felt like a king and a god. That's a severe sign of trauma to say, I'm okay, you're not okay. Oh, Jesus. I've never done videos where I'm leaning back. I'm always like sitting up like this. I got used to this. I don't mean to be too informal here, but I'm these chairs are... Oh, there's that song that Cher song. I talked about this Cher song yesterday in relation to symbiosis. And she didn't get her needs met, so she felt rejected. So she's going to go around rejecting others first, because she's going to be the rejecter, because the mother was the rejecter. She doesn't want to be rejected all the time. So she identifies with the aggressor and rejects others to know that she was rejected. So in the line she says, yeah, I don't think you're good enough. You're not strong enough. I don't believe you're good enough. I reject you first before you reject me. So that's a defense mechanism known as identification with the aggressor. The baby incorporates, internalizes, introjects, identifies with that experience of the mother and becomes that. He gives him his soul, his own soul, his unloved soul. Others can feel devalued and rejected. So that's what she's saying in the song. Yeah, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. And well, that's code that she felt that the mother told her that she wasn't good enough. But that's just the baby's attempt to make sense of a confusing situation. He is good enough. He is born to be loved and to be himself. The problem is he's confused when the mother doesn't meet his needs. He's in pain. The baby thinks, is he being punished? The mother is not meeting his needs. Is the mother rejecting him? Is something wrong with him? Is he defective? Is he being punished? Unconscious shame, unconscious guilt. Baby says, I'm desperate, your mother. I gotta make it right with you. What do you need? Let me save you, mother. Let me heal you. Let me cure you. Let me fix you. I need a loving mother. So let me make you be a loving. What do you need, mother? So the baby will try to save the mother, cure the mother. Okay, he can't do that. He'll try his best. He'll fail in the task. Oh my God, he feels guilty again. So out of all this, he concludes that he makes some kind of what they call the moral defense. The baby's going to be like a little judge, trying to make sense of the situation. He's not born guilty or pain or bad. He's just trying to kind of figure out what's going on here. Okay, the mother must be seen as good, even if it's a lie, even if he's got to hallucinate it. In order to survive, he's got to make it up in his mind, defense mechanism of splitting. He's got to make himself, trick himself that the mother's good, but to account for the pain he feels, okay, he's going to somehow conclude that he's bad like that. He wasn't born bad, he just made that belief in response to the mother's the mother being in pain herself, where she wasn't able to love the baby because she only saw her past. And she pulled in the baby into her past trauma, thereby she couldn't see the baby. And that's the quote from we started off with earlier. So many of our clients have had little experience of being valued for themselves as separate and separating individuals who have something to offer. Their needs have so often been subsumed under the needs of others. That's one way of putting it. The last one for 2890. Yeah, that song's gonna. I'm starting to feel already that song's getting a little annoying. That's a pattern with me. Once I get to go to a place and they always play the same loop. I was at another venue. They played the same loop thing, and I was there for like, I don't know. I did like maybe 20 videos. They're all in, but I heard the same. They only have like a 40-minute loop thing, so I'd hear the same dozen songs again and around again, and it kind of drove me nuts. So I kind of gave up going. It was a nice place, nice living room kind of atmosphere, but I can't hear these cheesy cover songs of these techno AI generated cover songs of like the Bee Gees and stuff like that. It's kind of driving me nuts a little bit. And then one theory was, well, if the restaurant's popular, they want to annoy you a little bit to push you out so the next guest will come in. But when you go to the supermarket, they want you to stay. So they'll play nice, peaceful, relaxing music. So if you feel safe, you feel calmer, you'll spend more time there. If you spend more time there, the chances are you'll buy more. If you feel good, you buy more. Celebratory, you have more hope, you might buy more. So that's one theory. That's just like a sort of like a footnote on the side. I'm not really going to enter that kind of theory. Let's just stick to the basics. The basics. The first one, 2890, the basics. By means of free associations, okay, the client may arrive at the unconscious sources. So that's it. The unconscious sources. So when joy popped away the soul, okay, you have free associate, broccoli boat, that's the source, then you get it back. That's it. I mean, it sounds simple, but it takes 20 years. It's called the hero's journey. It's a suffering through process, the working through process to free associate. Stingers don't want to free associate. Oh no, tell you what's real. Oh, no, last time I had a feeling mother hurt me too much. I don't want to feel that pain, so I got to run away from it. I got to be a Peter Pan, fly away from it. So they'll be a Peter Pan in the way they speak. They'll lie, flip all BS. They'll fly around with their lies. They're kind of like Peter Pans, and they're speaking and they're lying like that. Okay, so again, so the quotes are strange, like that one there. It's kind of strange. So that's why it's strange, because it's pointing out that we feel estranged from our authentic self. That doesn't mean all strange quotes are helping you to find your estranged self. That obviously not that, but okay, so let's finish up with the point about the false self. So if the authentic self and the beingness, and you feel empty, you feel numb, you feel like a stuffed rabbit, you feel like a statue, you feel numb, emotional hypothermia, emotional coma, emotional catatonia. The jargon for this is athimoalexia. Athimoalexia. No feelings for your words. Translation from the Greek. Okay? So that means you have these words, your false self is speaking, but where are the feelings? Well, the feelings are frozen, exiled, far away from you, but you have these words. Yikes, you have these words, where are the feelings? Like I noticed that myself, like I'm sometimes talking, where are my feelings when I'm speaking too? You know, like, it's a sign of trauma, right? And when people hear, and people are always looking for that, where are your feelings when you're speaking? I'm looking for your feelings, I'm looking for your authentic self, because I missed my authentic self. Do you have your authentic self? So we're always looking for our authentic self. We spend our whole lives looking for our authentic self. We had an authentic self, we put it in the bag, we spend the rest of our lives looking for it to get it back, kind of thing. Again, about the bag, Robert Bly's metaphor. By the age of 5, we put our goal, our potential, who we'd be had we been loved, knowledge of the trauma, so much energy about who we'd be had we been loved, all that potential, and all the energy around the trauma, all the energy is called the id, all the knowledge, okay, who we'd be had we been loved. That gets put into a kind of metaphorical bag, meaning it's behind you, dark, shadow, don't see, unrepressed, unknown, like that. Also, it's in the limbic system, so that's like the jungle mind area, so it's kind of like dark, mysterious, like that, like the witch's garden and Rapunzel. So we put so much of ourself, quote unquote, our knowledge of ourselves, traits of ourselves, into this bag. By the age of 5, we drag this bag behind us all of our lives. At the same time, we spend the rest of our lives trying to reclaim and own. And every time you do make something unconscious conscious, the metaphor is eating the rampions, the Rapunzels. Okay, something about you don't know, pull it up from the witch's garden, unconscious, and make it to your conscious. And the lady was eating the rampions, and you feel better. You reintegrate, reclaim, re-own, repossess. It was yours. You lost it. Want to get it back. You want to reintegrate. So identify what's about you that's unknown and accept it. Okay, so when you're projecting, you're denying. Okay, when stuff's in the bag, you say others possess what's in there. So that's like creating a mirror to know what's within. Projection is the means of bringing this repressed material to your conscious, which you can accept and integrate. Again, eating the rampions. The image of eating the rampions, you can see it in Shelley Duvall's thing called the Fairy Tale Theater, the Rapunzel story. Not a really nice rendition of it, but at least you see the image of eating the rampions. So the rampions are in the unconscious. Fellow hops over the fence, okay, has a lantern, okay, pulls it up, and you accept it, okay, kind of thing. It's like a continuous process. Identify something about you that you didn't know, like in the soil. Like the rampions are like carrots. They're white radishes that are in the shape of a carrot in the soil, like that. So it's like deep like that. So you want to pull it up and then accept it, and then you eat it. I mean, the metaphor is you reintegrate, possess, you own, like part of you. Yes, I fully accept this mind. So you eat it. It's like you. Robert Bly says you're eating your shadow. A confusing phrase, but he means like accept, reintegrate, reappropriate what was yours, but you lost. Now you want to get it back. So these quotes are kind of like a lantern in order to see what's repressed about you, so you can get it back. So a quote might say something like, "Projection is the means of bringing repressed material to your consciousness." Okay, so of course. This is your soul, so when you say others are that, you're denying your own soul. So what you're saying about others, most of the time, it's about yourself. For example, a lot of this prejudice, it's confession that's within you. If you felt no good and you thought your mother was dangerous, then you say others are no good and dangerous. Well, that's a mirror. Look in the mirror. Lachlan calls it a mirror, and you own it. Okay, I see. If I'm saying this about others, that's my contents. Okay, in the projection, you're the projectionist. The film thing, the mechanism, the machine, the mechanism is in you. The contents I'm talking about those reel-to-reel thing. The material, the film is your material. The machine, the mechanism is in you, and you're the projectionist. All that's in you. You're the mechanism. You're the projectionist. You've got the mechanism. You've got the contents. You don't know it. All you know is what you see reflected on the screen like that. Oh, they possess this, they think this, they want this. Well, that's yours. But that's the psyche's attempt for you to see it so you can own it. They project it so you can see it, so you can own it. Okay, it's unconscious. It's the way to make the unconscious conscious. Say others possess it. That's for you to know that it's yours. It's called projection. So you look on the screen and, oh, it's mine. You look in the mirror, oh, it's mine. So most of the stuff that you're saying about others, there's a very good chance that it's your attempt to reclaim it, re-own it. Eat the rampions. Eat those white radishes. Yeah. So if you're going to watch Rapunzel, I would follow up. I would also recommend the German film called Rapunzel or the Magic of Tears. That's very clear. Like that's more true to the Grimm's tale, the Magic of Tears. So the castle, that's the conscious. Okay, the forest is the unconscious. Now in the castle, the conscious, they said there was guilt and poverty. They said poverty means guilt. In German, debt means guilt. It's the same word. It's we're debt, it's guilt, guilt. Okay, baby feels guilt. That's not true, but he believes that. Now in trauma, the soul is exile. That's the lady. What's her name again? The lady in the tower. Oh, Rapunzel. Yeah, sorry. With the golden hair, right? That's another different version, right? So you go on it. So that the protagonist says, he goes to the unconscious force. He says, "Gee, I've never been here. I've never been to this place before." Well, we never admit the truth about ourselves. We never looked in the mirror. We never like looked inwardly like that. So you're looking kind of like trying to identify something about you that you don't know. That's the shadow of the unconscious like that. So it's kind of scary, but I gotta do it. I gotta find my soul. I gotta get home. I gotta get my beingness. I gotta get my golden ball. I gotta find Rapunzel. I gotta reclaim it and have that like marriage like that union like that, back to yourself like that. Rapunzel, like your beingness, you want to get back your beingness. So the house and the beingness are together, reunited as like a marriage or reunited like that. So the protagonist is saying, I gotta look, I don't know what it is, I just gotta look around, lost, dark, forest, lost, scary, oh, a witch, this, but he hears his soul. Oh my God, there's my soul, I think I found it. Okay, then he had this kind of continuous process to help free the soul like that, but there's a reaction, the witch, the memory. Okay, that means the mother said to the baby, said to the person as a baby, look baby, I need you to take care of me. Mother's rights, you gotta serve me, you gotta please me, you gotta do what I say, with me or against me, baby. So that's the witch image that you created, and you felt rage like that, created an image of the witch like that. That image is mainly about your feelings like that. So you gotta feel, that's gonna be flared up, it's coming up like that, they're gonna reaction like that. So they were lost in the forest, they were lost in the forest like that. Okay, long story short, the protagonist finds Rapunzel, and there's so much wounds by that time. But the magic of tears, when you find your soul, okay, it's a relief. It's always a relief to find your soul, your feelings. Then you cried, you tears. So there was tears, the magic of tears, and then you can see you're back. You come back home, all is good. You no longer feel guilty and debt like that. You feel your normal kind of place. So that's one way of describing. So the process of what I just described is back to that Shelley Duvall one where you pluck up the rampion. Okay, hop over the fence, which is garden dark like that. Identify something about yourself in your unconscious. Admit it, bring it to your conscious, and accept it. So she ate the rampions. She was hungry, she felt better, she felt empty, and felt vivacious like that. All that potential, she was pregnant like this. So potential, the potential's there like that. You gotta feed your potential, different ways of saying it. Yeah, so that's a major thread in our collection, psychological interpretations of myths and fairy tales. That caffeine's good. I like this caffeine here, the coffee here. It's the other stuff is bitter and acidic. This one's a little smoother. Plus it's shorter. I find it not too. I don't know where, if it's local or imported. I don't know what it is. Oh, the slogan, yeah. Our interests create the environment. So what's your interest? Well, the interest is you didn't get mother's love. So now you're in a loop. That's called greed. Well, the environment you're plundering doesn't work. You're plundering doesn't work. You're plundering doesn't work. So your interest creates the environment. So the environment's being gobbled up and destroyed because your interest is I didn't get mother's love. With trauma, we have the unconscious hope for the fulfillment of old unfulfilled needs. It's neurotic, it's dysfunctional, secret psychoticus, or homoneuroticus, psychoticus. We're gobbling up, okay, because the top 20% of the most traumatized have the most pain around us, so they'll do the most aggression around it. Okay, so the 20% of plundering the planet, gobbling the planet, let's say, because their interest is to get mother's nursing, mother's milk, mother's comfort, mother's soothes, mother's reverie. Mother sees the baby, soothes the baby, hears the baby, makes the baby feel safe and warm so he can have that cocoon so he can grow and be himself. It was missing, so he's looking for it again and again and again. So that's the interest like that. So your outer environment's you're going to behave like that, so you're creating the environment to reflect the inner. The outer, okay, inside out. Okay, so now let's pick up back on the false self. So if the true self's missing, how does the person live in the world? They feel empty like that. Now, what's left of them? Okay, well, let's just start with trauma before 18 months, the more severe one, before 18 months. If the trauma is before 18 months of age, so we know the primary narcissism, entitlements, the solipsistic bubbles, all about them is there. Okay, and so empathy hasn't reached the picture, gratitude hasn't entered the psychological picture, love, feeling, affection, tenderness hasn't really entered the psychological, but there's still this little godlike thing. It's all about them. Okay, that's the main one there. So let's briefly mention that if it's before 18 months. Okay, so the false self, okay, can be created when there's trauma before 18 months, and a variety of personality structures will be created when trauma takes place prior to 18 months. Okay, now the commonality of these various personality patterns, we're calling the stinger personality patterns, is identification with the aggressor, your soul unloved, see it onto others, and then when you repeat, others are the proxy of you, you're the mother who shames yourself, but others are you, so you shame them. Then you flip-flop, they are your mother, you're yourself, you're angry at the ones you just shamed. That's going to be the common one. It's called identification with the aggressor, negative magic gesture, scapegoating, okay, and it's more disturbed like that because you're hurting yourself and you're hurting others, because you need mother's love, but you can't feel that cry anymore. So you find proxies to play you to cry. You're the mother that says no, and then you're angry by this arrangement. So then you play yourself and you think now you control the proxy who's damaged by you shaming them. Now you have more effort to control your mother, but they're not your mother. The present isn't the past. Doesn't make sense like this. So you can. Okay, so if the trauma is before 18 months, it's going to lead to one of the various stinger personality patterns. Okay, it could be one of the narcissistic types. Okay, not just the familiar, aggressive the familiar cookie cutter ones that we see. Marie-Louise von Franz says a funny thing on the topic of narcissism. She's got a book called The Puer Aeternus, 1975, I think, or something. I'm surprised she said this, but if anybody could say it, it would be her. She's like a strong, kind of intense, confident, I don't know. She's a genuine character, right? I don't know the full story about her, to tell you the truth, but in the introduction to her book, she talks about this, how people with the narcissistic pattern think it's all about them, the little prince, little king, little god like that. And she says she has this routine. Every time one of these Peter Pans or Playboys come to them, and they think they're special and unique and they're chosen, they're little, like they own the world or something. Oh, so you think you own the world, right? And he over there thinks he owns the world. He does it too, he does it too, he does it too. You guys are a dime a dozen, you're all over the place. How are you special if you all have this stuff? How can you all be kings who owns this one world? And I don't get it. Oh my God, there's something wrong with me then. Oh, now you're getting somewhere. So usually you can't give that kind of interpretation to a person with a narcissistic pattern. It's considered narcissistic injury. You're not giving them their supply, meaning you're not giving them a sense that there's a reaction to them. Although there is a reaction to them, it's negative, right? Actually, maybe this is supply. A person with a narcissistic pattern, as long as it's about them, even if you're giving them bad news, it's still about them. They might accept it, actually, come to think of it. Maybe that's how that worked, I'm not sure. But usually you can't give feedback to a person with a narc because they think they're special and perfect. And you're pointing out some feeling or something. Is something wrong? A feeling? I can't. A feeling? I'm perfect. I'm a little God. Well, wait, you think you're God? He's a God. They're all gods. How are you perfect if you're all? I don't get. It doesn't make sense. Okay, that's a huge topic, narcissism. Oh my God, that's a huge topic. Oh boy, yeah. I go to yesterday's video. We talked a little bit about it. I don't think I'll do the full story about it here with narcissists and echo and all that, and the unresolved symbiosis and the lack of empathy. Making everything about them, needing the supply like that, and being able to identify that and admit it. Some mothers do have the narcissistic pattern. It's called the ACON, adult children of narcissism. the Akon group or something. So in today's quote, if you click the more link here, there's quotes from two young ladies who wrote self-help books about their experience with mothers who were narcissistic, and they wanted to discuss it. They're not therapists, they're shrinks. So this batch here is a little unique like that. They're just regular fellow travelers. They're on the second journey themselves, so that they're not shrinks. So that's today's a little special in terms of that area. 90% are by the shrinks. The 9.999, okay, the rest is by self-help authors who are usually PhDs in psychology or social workers or something. It's very rare to have quotes from people who have no therapy training, but just went into therapy and wrote their experience. Actually, we do have Lucy Freeman. Yeah, that's true. She was a journalist and wrote about this. So we do have a few quotes by people who were clients from shrinks and wrote about their experience, like a memoir kind of thing. So a little bit like that. So we have that today here. So these quotes here are not from shrinks or psychologists, which represents roughly 10%. But 90% of the quotes are from medical doctors, who got tired of playing whack-a-mole with people's symptoms, because symptoms are emotional. Why are you going to shame down the emotions again? That's what the mother did, and the doctor's doing it again. He feels badly because maybe he realized that he identified the aggressor. He's doing to the client with the symptoms what the mother did to his emotions. He felt, I don't want to do this. So he went to the analytic school. Well, how do we do narrative medicine? What's this verbal therapy? What's this talk therapy? What's this word therapy? What's this constructing thing? What's this reconstruction thing? What's this case formulation? What is this finding the story, piecing it together? What is this? What is an interpretation? How do we link the pattern, when it began, and to identify an example of it? How do we make these transfers, interpretations? How do we make these kind of inferences to make us aware of the past? How do we build this basket? How do we build the ego like they're building the construction? How do we build this thing? So they go to the school for that. Very hard to get into these schools. I'm not even fully sure if they're still really around or not. I think they're partially around, but they're under attack, obviously, because a symptom it's a resistance to feeling, right? To attack soul doctors. It's a resistance to feeling. So soul doctors a lot of them are forced or nudged or persuaded to go to Madison Avenue. Look, you're with us or against us. So you help us plunder the planet for a quick buck, or you're against it. What do you take your pickers? Or maybe they felt compelled. Maybe, I don't know, survival or something. I don't know. That's a cop-out maybe. So that's why we greatly appreciate the thousands of shrinks that said no to the pillage and plunder and stayed on the course for healing. Okay, so these thousands of authors we have here, they're featured here in our collection. Masterson, Karen Horney, Edmund Bergler, Gradstein, Ogden, Solani, Guntrip, Althea Horner, and the whole long list. Even Janoff's in there, and even these young ladies are in here to a degree. And so on. We've got a lot of excellent authors here. So a huge sense of gratitude for the medical doctors that stayed on course, wrote their books, shared their discoveries, moving towards making the unconscious conscious, giving us dream interpretations. Yes, a lot of case studies are just vanity projects to make themselves look good, to keep their job or something. So there's a lot of muddle and muck and mistranslation, misdirection, misinformation. There's a lot of muck like that. So I kind of waded through it a little bit and try to pluck out the gems. So we have 10,000 gems here, with the hope being that 1 out of 10 will be a gem for any person. So that's the exercise. I'm following Robert Bly's advice to read psychoanalysis for 10 minutes a day. So if you read 10 minutes a day of quotes, hopefully the chances are, I'm thinking one might be of interest. You write it down, email it to yourself, write it down, handwrite it down, put it aside, let it incubate. Just maybe use it as a prompt to free associate. What does this quote suggest to me? You see, make a note or something. What does it remind me of? Why did I choose this quote? There's something tough about this. I don't know what's the toughest thing about this quote. Validate. You must have a very good reason for feeling this is a tough quote. Yes, I do have a good reason for feeling this is a tough quote. So validate yourself. Okay, we didn't get it as a baby. We got to give it to ourselves. It's called self-reparenting. So we got to reparent ourselves in that kind of sense. So we validate our feelings. We have a feeling, we validate. I must have a very good reason for feeling tense or something. Yeah, because the chair. Oh, there it is again. All right. So narrative medicine, patreon.com, narrative medicine, be your own, find your real self, patreon.com/narrative medicine. Yes, I have a fantasy, some of that is on there. Yeah, for a little while there, the Inside Out ad was on the Sky Trail, which was nice. Very nice to see the Inside Out ad, the cartoon characters bouncing around, Joy and all them. The gang, yeah, the gang. The gang did the group hug, and the soul was healed. Inside Out 2. So highly recommend both films, Inside Out 1 and 2. Okay, so 9 years ago was the first one, 2016, was it 15 or something? And now 9 years later, we got Inside Out 2. Excellent job. A real enhancement, a real enrichment. Inside Out 2. And now Pete Docter says he's brainstorming about Inside Out 3. I gave him an idea in an earlier video. If he wants it, he's welcome to have it. My goodness. He's a soul doctor, yeah. Maybe the name helped him in that area. He didn't become a medical doctor, but I grew up with this name Doctor. I feel like I'm a doctor of some kind. So maybe I could be a soul doctor. So sure enough, he became a soul doctor with Inside Out 1 and 2. Now 3's on the way. Now I hope, the impression I got is he didn't get punished for flooding it with LGBT propaganda. That would destroy it. So that's a decent film, Inside Out 2. So he said, he didn't say anything that someone called him and punished him for not doing LGBT propaganda, because everything's everywhere. You look, it's everywhere. Like in the mall here, you got huge billboards, LGBT propaganda, implied, suggestive thing in that area. That kind of stuff, without feeling, without affection, that kind of see, that's people behind it. They're saying they lost their feelings and they're stuck back in the limbic system, and that mammalian, the lizard brain, only cares about survival and reproduction without feelings. So that's a sign like that. And you're repeating around trying to survive like that. So all this pornography stuff, and that's like just surviving, reproducing, surviving. They're just thinking like that. Where's the feeling that we're humans with feelings, and the embodiment, the feelings, the tenderness, the affection, the warmth like that? Well, it's all missing. Well, if you want to keep it missing, or you want to know that it's missing, well, if your behavior is in response to a fear of that, whereby if you felt it, you don't want to feel it, or you operate from this repetitive thing that mother thingified you, lost your soul. Well, you thingify others, objectify others, because your mother objectified you, so you objectify others, don't have a feelingful human connection like that. The jungle love, play Steve Miller, okay, that's that whole topic, maybe the Playboy phenomena, Playgirl phenomena. All these songs like that. Yeah, another thing, I mentioned the Ace of Base one. She said the same thing. I lead, da-da-da-da-da. She leads a lonely life, da-da-da-da. And all she wants is another fling. A baby, she means like a temporary boyfriend, another baby. Like a short-term, one-night fellow, she calls her baby like a boyfriend. I just need another, all that she wants is another baby like that. She means it like that. Wikipedia even says it in there. I looked it up now. I thought it meant just like, she just wants another good time, like a one-night good time. Well, that's a baby, another good time. It doesn't mean like an actual physical baby. It just means like informally. So it's the stress, it's the pain and the tension and the stress relief and the tension relief of blowing off steam, where you treat others the way you were treated. And you might feel excited because when you replay the trauma, you're the aggressor, and you're excited to dump the other because mother dumped you. We talked about yesterday. That might be a lot of the excitement like that. Jungle love. And the she-wolf attracts the wolf attracts the she-wolf, and the she-wolf attracts the wolf. So they're both dumping each other. Well, the she-wolf attracts infantile men, and infantile men want to know that they were lured and rejected. Okay, the she-wolf says, well, I'm the aggressor. I'm going to allure and reject because mother rejected me. Or the wealthy playboy allures the women to reject them. Same idea. So that again, this is back to the first part of the brain. The middle feeling one is missing. So you're operating from the lizard side of it all, which only cares about reproduction and survival. But normally intimacy and the warmth is together with close relationships. Intimate relations are with the feeling and the warmth like that. And there's like a new kind of quality to it that's different from the one person compared it. It's kind of like a little bit like the difference between junk food and healthy food. A little bit like that, he said. She said. Yeah, we don't really have a thread, not too much in there. Let me give me a second here to do some perspiration and management here. Hold on a second. Still sweating. Oh, I guess it's getting hotter here, isn't it? Okay, so we're talking about the various versions of the false self. So the false self grouping in the stinger mode, i.e. trauma before 18 months, the commonality is taking refuge in the infantile megalomania. So there's the entitlement, the narcissistic supply, lack of empathy. You need to make everything about you. It's all about you. Okay, that'll be a common. Hate, greed, envy, envy, spite, vindictiveness, schadenfreude. Okay, now since there's no ability to feel sad, okay, there's no identity, so there's no sadness. But what if there is a loss? Even losing somebody to shame, the way you were shamed, it's still a loss. Okay, so denial, contempt, and sour grapes. Didn't eat them anyways. That's their slogan. Okay, and so on. There's a commonality in the area. Scapegoating's in there. Translogic is in there. The emotional triangle, and all the jungle slogans and survival slogans and my greedy, your greed. Anything human about feeling, the quote-unquote my human side of being human, the feeling, the tenderness, they gotta shame it, damage it, hate it, mock it because that was done to them, and they identified with the aggressor who did that to them, so others are them, and they repeat it like that. And then they hate them because now they have a chance to fight with the mother because they want to control the mother. So the scapegoater person is playing kind of like both. The shame self as a projector and the frightening mother they made as well. So they hide it with rationalizations and excuses, wanting to appear reasonable. You know, the mother who abuses the kid, you know, well, why are you doing that? Well, I'll spare the rod. She says something to kind of confuse people or something. And so we did 6 videos on rationalization. I recommend those 6 videos on rationalization. It's not being rational. It's when you want to give the appearance of being rational to hide how you're being immensely irrational, immoral, cruel, like you want to appear reasonable and admirable. It's a deceptive thing. Back to the flip-flopping. You want others to think you're good because you want others to think you're the mother of them. And the baby thought the mother had to be good. And that's part of it like that. Oh, got some people here. Oh, it's getting much busier here today. Okay, let's let this group here pass by. Hold on a second. passed by? All right, good, all right. Yesterday was Monday. It was nice and quiet here on Monday. Today it's getting busier. It progressively gets busier throughout the week, yeah. Okay, so back to the false self construction. So we got to identify the false self and realize it's the false self, so we can look underneath it and free associate and ride the broccoli boat to get back the soul, and then we can have a real self. But you got to identify the false self to look under it, to ride the river, the stream of consciousness, back to inside out too. So let's first identify the false self. So the false self construction, okay, if it's before 18 months, it can be one of the narcissistic types, okay, the familiar over one, or the various Don Juans and the Peer Gynt and the Casanovas and Don Quixotes, all of the playboy types and womanizer types, okay, and the selfish types and all about them types. Then you got the voyeur one of them, the voyeur one, the voyeuristic one. Okay. For more information about the voyeur one, read Masterson. He calls it the closet one. I'm confused by his term closet. You mean you're gonna come out? No, he means they're always in, like, but they're voyeuristic about it. They bask in others. Others are like proxies for them doing it. They wish they could do it, but they can't. They enjoy others doing it, so they're like voyeuristic like this. So you got the voyeur narcissist, and you got the clingy vine one. You got the turtle one. Their egocentricity is the avoidant schizoid attached, so they're detached like that and they're proud like that. I haven't really looked specifically into the so-called covert one, but maybe it's similar to the clinging vine one, or maybe it's the lower functioning BPD one, or the lower functioning passive aggressiveness can be like all over the place. But if we identify a passive aggressive personality in the stinger camp, then that might be like kind of like the covert one, I think. Okay, anyways, the bully one, we know about the bully one, that they're more aggressive like that. Because there's more of a concern. See, the bully one and the Iago, see, they were ejected, they were traumatized prior to 4 to 5 months. So there's more of a safety issue. Now, Iago doesn't bother anymore. His only safety is to see goodness damaged. His mother damaged his goodness. He thought the mother hated his goodness. He becomes the envied breast. To have a mother, he's got to hate goodness as a condition. To have a mother, he's got to hate goodness. Then he feels glee because he gets the white flower. Okay, the commonality of all these, this chemistry of all these, is the little white flower. Okay, there's a little white flower called the narcissus flower. The ancient Greeks would name that psychology after that flower, because that flower gives people this hallucinatory narcotic like condition. Like, I don't know the details, but it's a solipsistic, dreamy, blissful kind of thing. So they get that blissful, dreamy kind of thing. Okay, that's all of them, all those stinger personality patterns. So when they act selfishly like that, or greedily, or envily, or they shame others the way the mother shamed them, that means they're still one with the mother. They became the mother. So they're still in that blissfulness of it all. Now the pain of it all, well, the proxy's there to express it, so you can project it onto them. It's externalized. The rest of it's numbed over, and you keep the blissful part. Now you're looking for the blissful part. Now you're addicted to it. Now you're addicted to hate, greed, envy, grenvy, spite, and so on. You're addicted to that stuff. So you're addicted to negative jokes. You're addicted to shaming, the shadow-footed jokes. Okay, so you're addicted to, cynicism. Okay, cynicism gratifies infantile megalomania, Berger says, and so on. You're pessimistic like that. It's all addictive stuff, because if you see others in a negative, no good light, that means you're the mother who did that to you, and you became that mother. That means you're one with the mother, so you're still one with the mother. You never got her love to leave her. You didn't differentiate from her, and so you really hate her for that. You didn't get your difference from her. So if you see somebody who looks different, you might think, wait a minute, I didn't get my difference. The one who's different, that means they were loved to be different. So you might feel envious of that. So that prejudice can come from that. Plus, you think, well, they're different. Wait a minute. Difference, that's the other. Wait a minute. You put a dash between the M and the O in the word mother. If they're the other, I got to look at the prototype, my mother. Oh, I hate my mother. Other means mother. Other in the present is a catalyst for me to remember my mother. like a trigger like that. So they hate the mother, so they hate the other because they hate the mother. So the one who looks different has a double thing going on, where the person who looks different reminds them of the mother, plus, or they think, wait a minute, if they're other, that means they were loved. That's goodness if they were loved because they became different. The person said to themselves, well, I didn't get love to get my difference. My mother envied my goodness and I became the envier. To have a mother, I gotta hate goodness. So if somebody's other, if somebody looks different, that means they were loved. Well, wait a minute, that's good. Love is good, so I gotta hate it. So prejudice, so that's a lot of prejudice can come from these dynamics. So of course prejudice is very much pronounced in the stinger modes. Often the Iago uses those the bully pattern. That's the 5 and the 8 on the Enneagram, the unhealthy 5 and unhealthy 8. Because sometimes the 5 would like to be the 8. The 8's the proxy for the 5, but if the 8's under stress, it becomes like the 5. This line like that. So 5s are like, they're like hidden kind of thing. And they're the ones that, hey, you 8, here's some information. Iago like spreads rumors against others to see the goodness damaged out there. Hey, mommy, look, you destroy my goodness, I'm you. Look, we're two peas in a pot. I'm a blissful state with you. I've got you. You've got me. We got each other. I've got you. Play the Cher song. I've got you. Cher. Oh my God, Cher. What's his name? Bono or Sonny Bono and Cher. That one. I got you. I got you. I got you. I'm so excited like that. See, mother, you hated my goodness. Look how I found a way to destroy all the goodness out there. I tricked A to hate B, and I tricked B to hate A, and the goodness between A and B, they destroyed it all. I got mother, I got you, you got me. I'm so excited like that. Well, that's another song. I forgot all about that song. So he's got his mother. He is his mother. A blissful, kind of excited, gleeful kind of feeling because he gets the little white flower. The little white flower blips up. The solipsistic, blissful feeling. One guy calls it oceanic ecstasy. So he does these very cruel things and he's excited like that. That's the real perversion. The shrinks call it perverse thinking, psychotic thinking, stuff like that. When the trauma's before 18 months. The only natural healthy thing is to move towards I'm okay, you're okay. So you forgive the other for the trauma, then you get your I'm okayness. If you can see the mother as flawed and do that work of seeing the two sides of her, that she cried for love, that she partly loved, everything's love her, cried for love. She couldn't love because she was in pain, so she was she was impaired like that. She was impaired. She's looking for her needs. Okay, that's kind of sad, so you feel sad about this recognition. Work towards the ability to feel sad about the situation, then you can, I'm okay, you're okay, like that, basically. Okay, we could actually run through all the various we could run through all the stinger personality patterns. Each one is a bit of a thread. Okay, those various narcissistic types, okay, the bully ones, the Iago one, lower functioning BPD one, and there might be a couple of other ones in there. Maybe I'll run through that here, but the commonality of the stinger personality patterns is identification with the aggressor. They hate vulnerability, they hate weakness, they hate feelings, they hate tenderness, because they had it once upon a time. Mother squelched it in them, they become the squelcher, so if they see it, they gotta squelch it to be in a blissful union with the mother. So they're addicted to this. They're addicted to hate, they're addicted to shaming others, i.e. they're addicted to schadenfreude. So a lot of people have a real fascination with put down terms, insult terms. They've memorized the dictionary of insult terms because it's like a pain crank going on. So all these bitter barbs like that, it's like a pain. Mr. Pain is cranking it out. He's spitting out these little barbs like that. So that's like an addiction to get the little white flower within. So they're addicted to this kind of stuff. So that's the problem here. So if stingers get together because they don't feel, there's pain, well, blow off steam, they agree to hate a third. Identify a third to play their humanness. So anything related to humanness, they gotta hate the third and think the third is bad and dangerous and no good, how the two feel. Then the two stingers take turns playing big shot after they blow off steam by scapegoating, emotional triangle, scapegoating. Then, okay, you get a turn playing big shot, I get a turn playing big shot. Okay, I'll mirror you, and I'll give you your narcissistic supply when you play big shot. I get a turn playing big shot. You give me narcissistic supply. We take turns like that, feeling is kind of addicted like that. Now, if they admit anything real about feelings between them, poof, it's over. You broke the deal. Didn't even anyway. It's no good. Ghost each other. Don't call each other anymore. But the deal is, we can't face feelings. We can't make eye statements. We can't free associate. We can't do anything like that. We just want to blow off steam all the time. And anything to do with feelings, well, we agree to hate the third. It's called scapegoating like that. Obviously, prejudice fit into that. It's very convenient, it's very convenient to just find somebody a little different. Well, oh, different. That's the other. Well, that's mother. Okay, we'll both agree to hate the one who looks different. Plus, the one who's different, maybe they were loved. Oh, well, we envy that, so we'll hate them that way because we hate goodness. If difference is goodness, we'll hate the goodness. If difference is mother, we'll hate the mother. So it's very convenient like that with the stingers. If the stingers have a child, they typically one of the children will be scapegoated because of the steam going on. So usually one of the children, at least one of the children in the family with the stingers will be scapegoated. Sharon, what's her name? Sharon Way Shager had, I quoted her example of the 4 kids, 2 stingers, 2 narcissistic couple, had 4 kids. So they sleep in a separate bedroom. They don't feel her. It's a utilitarian kind of thing. So the first kid, they wanted that kid to redeem them, to save them, to be a proxy, to save them. Come on, kid, be a star, save us. Be seen so we can be seen. Get lots of supply from others so we can feel supply. This kind of thing. So the first kid, a lot of pressure in that area. So he wasn't happy, but he got a lot of money and support to go to schools and all that stuff. So he had a lot of pressure like that. So he's called a quote-unquote the family hero like that. Meaning trying to be a hero for the parents. That doesn't work, whatever success he gets or not. That doesn't matter. That's not going to heal their trauma from the nursery. That doesn't work. So when the second kid comes up, by that time there's so much pressure cooker steam. Then they say, okay, we got to scapegoat this kid. We gotta. So the mother will deliberately not meet the baby's needs, make him naughty, make him upset, make him juvenile delinquent, make him troublesome. Deliberately, on purpose, set it up, create the conditions for it, let it happen on purpose. So that's a setup by the parents, so they can then have an excuse on their side to have an excuse to blow off steam on the naughty kid. So you scapegoat like that. Typically they say, look, yeah, he's dangerous. So if somebody on the outside, what are you doing? Why are you treating that kid so badly? You're so nice to the first kid and you're so badly to the next kid. Well, spare the rod, you see. Then they have a handy rationalization to throw everybody off like that, throw themselves off. Now the scapegoat kid goes along with it because he wants to keep his parents together. He feels important. Now he's naughty and all that. And that's his role like that. Now he's always going to be naughty because he knows the parents always need to blow off steam, and that kid is being scapegoated to keep the parents together. So he's kind of sacrificed like that. Then Sharon's third kid kind of came on the scene. They kind of just ignored him or something. He was the lost one. He went to the library. He might be the best off. He might be lucky like that, I guess. So he got nothing, right? He just was on his own or something. Lonely kid on his own. He was the lost one. And the 4th kid came on the scene. And I don't know how that happened, but the 4th one discovered so much tension in the whole family system, and he became the mascot or the joker like that. So he maybe did something silly and everyone laughed. And what a huge, valuable role he has. He keeps the whole family together with his antics. So he becomes the mascot one, or the joker one, or the clown one, or something like that. That was like the 4th one like that. Because the youngest one tends to have the most freedom, because the first 3 buffered the pain for the 4th one. So he got like the most freedom, so he could fool around. When he fooled around, maybe everyone was able to feel safe by that, so they blew off a lot of steam like that. So he becomes a comedian, the family comedian or something like that. That was just one version of the family order system. We don't really have a thread on family order, Mr. Adler and all that, but we do have a little bit about the only child syndrome, not when they're about the 4 like that. But the point is, when the parents are stingers, one of the children will be scapegoated, just like when 2 buddies have prejudice against the imaginary third they're going to make up. And they know the third is harmless. They don't care. They just have a compulsion to blow off steam. They need the supply that they're going to give each other. Where okay, I'll let you play big shot, and you let me play big shot. It's narcissistic supply like that. There's no feelings or learning or growing or healing or crying or not. They hate that stuff. That kind of stuff is what the scapegoat is for. And when they see the scapegoat, the shame and attacking them, then they can blow off steam with each other and play infantile God. They just want to play infantile God, big shot. Take turns playing big shot. Do we have the Billy Joel song Big Shot on there for that? Let me look up the lyrics for Big Shot, Billy Joel's Big Shot. Let me see if it fits in for that. Most of the songs in our soundtrack have a psychological link to a psychological point. I'm not sure if that one fits in there. You have to be a big shot, didn't you? Yeah, maybe. We got a lot of great songs. I got Pavlov's Dog, 4 songs, Delirium, 4 songs, and Shell, 7, I think, Beatrice Diaz, I think it's 5 or 6, I think, and Ziana Zain, a whole bunch by her. She's a great singer, Ziana Zain, and Jesus, a lot of songs from Turkey on our soundtrack. Indigenous singers, the Willie Dunn and the Willie Mitchell, those guys, and Cashman, Brian Andre, and a whole bunch of songs there. All the ladies there, my goodness, Eli Sappi, and Jenny Luzon, Caitlin Johnson, Kelly Fraser, a lot of great songs like that. And now we're adding some more disco songs. Love How You Love Me by Melanie Thornton. That's what a nice song. I recommend the stage ones, like the live ones on stage. In particular, the cozy one, the indoor cozy one called Top of the Pops. It's like a countdown kind of thing. That's a cozy one there. If you want a romantic song that's decent and clean, just a little pleasant little escape like that, that one's like that. And then Do You Remember by the Passion Fruit Band. It's easy to find. The screenshot is a Christmas tree in the winter. It's all snowflakes on it, that one. Oh, hold a second. Another group passing by. Hold a second. I'm not sure where that thumping's coming from. There's always this thumping going on. As if there's some kind of discourse. I can't imagine where that might be from. Oh, maybe there is a... Oh, there is a... Oh, now that I think about it, there is some kind of a... I thought that was only open at night or something. There's some kind of disco up there. Okay, never mind. That's... Okay, yeah, so the sting of personality patterns. Okay, so the commonalities, identification to the aggressor, finding proxies to play their soul, because when there's trauma we repeat, but they don't want to play themselves. They're the aggressor. Find proxies to play themselves, which they're going to shame, and then hate them because you flipped them to your mother. And then, okay, let's just leave it there for the stingers. Okay, but that's all false self stuff. It's defensive. Okay, narcissism is kind of assumed in all of them. So there's this constant supply, make it all about them, kind of thing. So empathy is not going to be there. Survival examples, survival slogans are pronounced there. They're operating out of the amygdala mainly. The human side, the feeling side is frozen, remember? So they're spinning around in the survival jungle slogans. And the ability that they have to stay in that survival mode is called the BPD amalgam. Something in the brain that fuses the two mentations, secondary, primary, secondary, psychotically neurotic, neurotically psychotic. Something blurs in around and creates this poof, this in the mind. It's like a mirror like that. And from this mirror, it allows the person to do this hollow mirrors. So you say to somebody, you know, you just contradicted yourself. What are you talking about? A moment ago, I had to survive. I said that. This moment is now. I got to survive now. I don't care about contradiction. It's all true. Because in the unconscious, there's no time. So you only want to survive for that moment, kind of thing. Well, that was hurtful what you did. Well, that's hurtful what you said. What you're saying is hurtful. You turn it around, you flip it. Confuse them, make them admire you. So the bully can be hurtful and trick people to think they're good, and the victim is bad. Like they can do all these topsy-turvy things. They're very intuitive. They have uncanny intuitive knack because it's all the compulsions. They got to survive. Can't feel, fool, distract. Yesterday she gave the example. Tomorrow there's an example where she said, where is it here? Oh no, it is today. Yeah, it is today. A toxic person will usually they're toxic because they're so filled with hate, they project the hate, the inner critic, the mother hating them is the inner critic. They think everybody's hating them. So then they react like that, self-fulfilling prophecy. It's very toxic stuff like this. A toxic person will usually, I mean psychologically, emotionally toxic, will usually never acknowledge their toxic behavior. You can, because they're in survival mode. They won't admit it because they're survival. They can't admit it. They can't admit anything. They can't admit that they're not perfect. They can't admit that they can't. They have to get their supply of narcissistic survival, narcissistic supply. That's their only identity. Okay, being the king on the uterus and the throne. That's their only identity. That's what it means. So the truth is, mother hated them as a huge inner critic. That inner critic you see on everybody, and a little paranoid like that, and then fighting like that. It's very toxic, all this stuff. You can confront and say what you need to say for your own sake, but don't be surprised if a mother with a narcissistic personality pattern will turn around and make you feel bad for it. Are you saying I'm a bad mother? These mothers see accountability and fairness as an attack. But please don't listen to deflections such as that. Are you saying I'm a bad mother? So they can deflect. They're very good deflectors. Hollow mirrors. Deflect. They can deflect it like that. So they won't be called out on it. They'll deflect so much. They want to turn around where you admire them. Oh, you're so amazing. Oh, thank you. Good. Got my supply. Ideally, they want to flip it around. And if you just hate them, well, they'll take that if they have to. But ideally, they're aggressively wanting to be seen somehow. Being raised by a mother with a narcissistic pattern is a special kind of crazy. It is a pure and laser-sharp form of psychological and emotional abuse. They're very intuitive and quick. You know, it's quicksilver. The mother she knows how to push her buttons because, hey, she sewed them on. She traumatized the baby to know the buttons so she can quickly press them. So she can survive like that, to control the baby, to make the baby a source of supply for her. It's a special kind of crazy. Even more devastatingly, it's an invisible abuse. And no one knows what's happening, including the mother, actually. The child doesn't realize it because the child needs to believe mother's lies and think that they're no good. So the mother arranges that. Okay, good, baby. I want you to say you're no good. I like it. I feel some relief when you feel unhappy. And you turn to me, I feel important. I get my supply. You reflect and externalize my shame self, or reflect it so I don't feel it within. So she's scapegoating the child in this area. It is difficult for many people to get their heads around such breathtaking self-centeredness. But the more you can begin to imagine it, the more you can get a glimpse of understanding narcissism. Everything is about her. She has zero empathy. She cannot or will not put herself in anyone's shoes to imagine. The empathy hasn't entered the psychological picture because the feelings are frozen. You need feelings for empathy. The feelings are too frozen way too early on, and it's exiling. Rapunzel's in the tower. You got to get Rapunzel back to have empathy. Okay, so empathy is a basic feeling. Feeling is what makes us human, yeah, and so on. It makes us subjectivity. Regret makes you more of a person when you regret, feel forlorn, regret, apology, depressed. Okay. So it's hard to imagine somebody who always tries to find some way to make it always about them. And her example was, this lady's example was some woman, like a young 20-something-year-old woman, had a miscarriage when her stillbirth or something, very sad about it. So she did turn to the mother about that, and what the knee-jerk reaction by the mother was, oh, now I don't have a grandchild. She made it about her. She totally was oblivious to how the daughter might be feeling. So that's a pretty clear example of how the mother makes everything about her. Doesn't have empathy for her daughter. That mother was looking forward to have a grandkid to shame. Now I don't have a grandkid to shame. Or use it as a supply. She needs to believe that she's perfect, does no wrong ever, of course. That would bring out feelings otherwise, right? Okay, her only identity is she's a blissful, chosen, special one. It's like a little king, little god, like that. If you would admit something human about it, wait a minute, that brings up the idea that I was supposed to be loved to get that humanness. I never got that. That brings up all the pain. I can't do that. Let me go back to the king on the throne and the uterus. Everyone has to acknowledge that she is both the center of the universe and perfect, and treat her accordingly. It's not enough for her to know that she's the center of the universe. Everyone else has to as well, or at least behave in a way that respects her position. So she's got to feel number one all the time. So the main way she knows that someone is honoring her position as center of the universe, like it's all about her, is that if they're paying attention to her. Well, if they're paying attention to her, because they'll draw attention to her, so she might be shocking to draw attention to her. She might provoke a fight to draw attention to her. So she's got to draw attention, like the so-called attention seeker, I guess. She needs lots of attention like that. Now, she wants admiration, obviously, but if she can't get admiration, well, okay, fear will be fine. That's a sign of respect. She doesn't want love; she wants fear. Okay, and she can't get the fear. If she gets the pity, well, failing that, I guess she'll take the pity. As long as she's the center of the attention, as long as she gets narcissistic supply. Narcissistic supply. Okay, and it's a kind of a psychic food for them, a psychic drink for them, and a psychic drug for them as well. You, as her daughter, are in a very good place to give her this narcissistic supply. You're there, you're available, she has immunity, no one's going to protect the daughter, father's not around, no one's going to protect her, she's got this power, she's got this need, she feels this entitlement, mother's rights, she needs it, she's all about her, so she'll brainwash and traumatize the baby to fix it, that the daughter will be a constant supply to her. And the daughter is trained from birth. She's brainwashed from birth to do this. It's an endless job. It's an endless job by the daughter and this mother, because the mother's tanks need constant filling. She needs this constant attention. Not occasionally or intermittently. Oh no, her tanks are more of a sieve than a waterproof container. Because whatever response the mother gets from the daughter, it's not going to take her back in a time machine where she was seen by her mother. It doesn't work like that. So one example is Marilyn Monroe didn't get that early on, right? So men adored her with flowers and chocolate, and she always felt unloved like that. No matter what admiration she got from the fellows, she didn't correct that earlier thing. Another example was the professor guy. As a kid, he was never heard. He ended up as a professor and spent 5 decades giving lectures, and semester after semester, hundreds upon hundreds of students, year after year, were carefully listening to the guy, making notes while he's speaking, always listening very attentively, paying very careful attention to what he's saying, making notes like this. 5 decades later, this fellow said, I don't know what it is, but I feel like I've never been heard in my life. I've never been heard in my life. You see, so post that critical time. What you get, it doesn't erase that imprint, that seared in imprint that's grooved into the survival brain, and all the energy's there. What you get post that critical time, it's just it doesn't sink in, it doesn't change the past. Only identifying the past, having a lantern, these are then mourning and grieving, free association, abreaction, then you can enjoy the present. But he didn't do the abreaction, he never went to me. Okay, I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me, sings Charlene. So that's a pretty clear example, right? He has tens of thousands of people always listen, all of his life. He had people carefully listening to him, but he always felt unheard. So what you're symbolically trying to get, if you're still trying to get what you didn't get, it's not going to work. No time machines. You can't erase that imprint. That's a seared in imprint in the survival brain like that. Okay. Okay, that's sort of that's the one that's below 89, right? Let me just leave the other ones here. They're easy enough. They're from a self-help book. They're very easy enough to read through. Emotional trauma is making very real decisions for you today. Yeah, that's the puppet master, right? The iceberg metaphor. You think your conscious self, like the braggadocio doorman, owns the building? No. The owner of the building's invisible on a yacht. He's got more power. He's driving the thing. But you think you're like the braggadocio doorman. Okay, her main slogan is, if you're trying to feel something, don't worry. You're not in a hole. You're in a tunnel. The question is, you want to stay with the feeling to go through the tunnel. A lot of people say, well, if I feel stuck. Well, feel more fully, then you get through to the other end, like a tunnel. Tina Gilbertson's version of it is, the subtitle of her book, Constructive Wallowing. She means constructive allowing. You put a dash between the W and the A. Constructive allowing, wallowing, like the positive wallowing, meaning allowing. Allowing is in wallowing. So people say you're wallowing. Well, what about constructive wallowing, where you're allowing? So emphasis on the allowing your feelings. How to beat bad feelings by letting yourself have them. So if you fully have them, but you're stuck, well, fully have it, then you can go through kind of the tunnel thing. So nobody's really in a hole like that if you can somehow expand your ability to tolerate your feelings more. Oh, 1 second. Oh, it's busy here today. Oh, I see somebody sitting on a blanket there in the park. The kids are out. Maybe I can move this chair back because I keep seeing it right in front of me. That's a little better. Okay, I can use the plant to block my vision here. Triggers an unhealed wound from the past. Triggers an unhealed wound from the past. Unprocessed feelings from the past. So something in the present is just a catalyst, a symbol, a reminder to bring up the feelings from the past which you don't know. Don't blame the catalyst, don't blame the symbol, don't blame the trigger. And, it's just helping you to know how you felt in the past. Under every trigger is either a feeling that needs to be felt, a memory that needs to be worked through, a fear that needs to be faced. Get in touch with that traumatized inner child of the past. He or she thinks the same thing is happening right now, in this moment, as what happened before. So, meet your own inner child of the past with love, self-reparenting, be a parent to yourself. Welcome your inner child like a guest, honored guest like that. Oh, here you are. Okay, and connect with your inner child of the past, basically. but focus on the fact that the adult's in the present, that you're in the present. Hey, inner child, we're in the present here. Don't worry, I'm in charge, or we're in the present here. But there is feelings. Well, put words to your feelings as well. Validate your feelings, and you are the adult who recognizes your feelings. Your mother didn't recognize your feelings. You can recognize your feelings. She says she doesn't worry about trolls because whatever a troll says to her, well, that's a reflection of their wound. It's not about her. So she's only in her 20s and she's very confident like that, right? I don't worry about the trolls on my social media, whatever it is, because any negative comment that comes my way is about the commenter's own wounds. It's not about me. Reminding my inner child that this is not the case anymore. Remind your inner child of the past that you aren't in that environment anymore. Hey, baby in the past, we're not in the nursery. We're here now in the present. 2024, Inside Out 2, Film of the Year. And that you have or will set boundaries that will ensure their safety going forwards, give the feeling of voice. Okay, I'm not sure about this one. You can try. This is a question mark. She says, go outside and run for it, as if a bear is chasing you. So just imagine a bear is chasing you. And so really run for it. Oh my God. This might help your body to realize more quickly that you are in fact safe and finish the trauma since you have now escaped. I include this one here because I did come to tears when I saw the Route 66. Go to 2599, the first one there about the mask. When she visited her abusive mother, and then she realized she was a total narcissist, and now she could run. As a baby, she couldn't run. Now she went back there. She ran for it like crazy. She was running manically, and her buddies were in the car. It was the car. They revved the car, let her hop in, and drive off down, roll away, roll me, and we get out of here. So she escaped. I always, just remembering that, I tear up a little bit about that. So I'm thinking there's something to it there about that. The baby couldn't escape. He had no motor skills. He couldn't move. So when you see images where people face that and they run finally, they escape, take off, get out of here. It's kind of like what the Peter Pan's doing. They're flying around, escape, but they're just stuck doing it all. They're just forever doing it. You're meant to do it where you can, to a point where let your body realize that you really escaped. So maybe this is a way to bring the feelings to it. Now, obviously, you can fantasize it the other way. Maybe imagine a bear is chasing you and you can't escape, but now you're going to fight with the bear. So imagine you're going to wrestle with the bear and you're going to put the bear in a headlock or something, and the bear runs away whimpering or something. So you survived it. I'm not sure to what degree that really works. But we seem to be recreating situations to process and get like finish the script kind of thing. This next one was a little bit interesting. She said that before she goes to sleep, she presses the tension on her jaw muscle here. I also have tension here too. So you're lying down, you're going to go to sleep. Give yourself a gentle massage to loosen up the emotions that are stuck in the muscles, right? So if you loosen something up, you might get a nightmare, because you loosen the emotions up. So you put yourself in a place where emotions are going to come up. So that's going to go into your dream world, and then you get it up like that. So in her example was she had memories of being ignored. She was always a fifth wheel, unwanted, so on. Okay, Anthony, that's about it, yeah. So that's it, 2889, two young ladies who have what's called the Electra complex. The Electra complex. So I'm basing it on Hendrika Albrecht-Freud, no relation to Mr. Freud, she said, but she has a book called The Electric Complex. The electric complex means when the daughter is used by the mother to serve the mother in whatever form it is. Either the mother is going to shame her daughter because the mother wants to replay how she had been shamed, or she wants to use the daughter to fight with her mother, or she wants to parentify the daughter, take care of her, or the daughter is going to be an extension of her, like a proxy, whatever form, shape it is. Whenever the mother uses the daughter to meet her needs, that daughter ends up with the Electra complex. Her brother's an Oedipus, right? And the mother's Jocasta and the father's Laius. So you got Laius, Jocasta, Oedipus, Jocasta, like that. So this is Mr. Freud's favorite myth about this, that we got to face this issue that a lot of children are not getting enough love to know themselves. If it's a boy, they end up with the mother complex or the Oedipus complex. If it's a girl, they end up also with the mother complex called the Electric complex. Nothing. Don't take disturbed pop culture interpretation. It doesn't mean it like that. These are metaphors for inner dynamics. So the self is quote unquote married to the mother, right? The father's not around. See, the child didn't want that. The mother wanted that. He was engulfed like that by the mother. So then he grows up and does it to the next one. So it's not like the child wants to be unloved by his mother. No baby wants to be abused by their mother. So don't think. So inwardly there's that kind of marriage like that, meaning the self concept is blurred, like one with union, like a union. No child wants that. So forget about pop culture's messed up, perverted English translations. It's not like that. Right? So the story is the curse, right? We learned that, he's married to his mother. No, not literally. Are metaphors for inner dynamics. They're not true on the outside, they're true on the inside. So this married thing means the fusion is still there. They never divorced, they never separated. Like they're still one like that, they're still married like that. Not physically outer marriage, it's like an inner thing like that, in a negative way. And the father's not around, so the father's missing. That's all that means. No one killed him. The father's missing, he's absent, he's out of the scene like that. So this takes place when the mother is alone with the daughter and engulfs the daughter like this. The father's not around, he's busy at work, so he's missing like that. That's all it means. So how do we heal from this? How do we separate from the mother when we have no memories of being loved by her? Well, to do so, you're going to bring up the theories. While you face the theories, the abandonment depression, you got to have enough understanding around why did the mother do what she did. Okay, see her as being impaired, that she's in pain, one who couldn't see the present because she only saw the past. If she only sees the past, her present is a new edition of the past which she's going to replay. Again, when there's trauma, we repeat. Okay, Mr. Freud's famous essay, memory, repeating, working through. If we don't remember, we repeat. We keep repeating in an effort to remember. When finally we can remember, we stop repeating. So the mother's just repeating. So if the mother was shamed, okay, she's going to repeat it. But this time she's going to be the shamer. Baby, you play me. I'm going to play my past. You're me, and you play the role of me as a baby. I play the mother shames me. So she pulls in the daughter in her unresolved, unfinished repetition with her mother, or she didn't get her needs. So when the baby doesn't get his needs, he's going to repeat. Why? Because there's no time. Don't ask an iguana for the time. John off jokes, don't talk feelings to the crocodile. That part of the brain doesn't know time, doesn't know feelings, etc. It won't feelings. It only knows sensations, visceral sensations. How are we doing? Let's see how we're doing. Actually, the lighting's much better. Yesterday I was here. How funny, eh? Yesterday I was here. It was all cloudy. I couldn't see myself. Now I can see myself clearly. I wonder if when I play it back, if you can see me okay. Yeah. I got a really old budget phone. I would love to get the new Honor V Magic V3. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the Honor phone because, let's see, 5, 6, maybe 8 years, 7 years ago. I guess about 7 years ago, this phone was discontinued. They were going to get rid of it or something. It was outdated, discontinued. So it was on a really wretched sale. I'll take it. If it works, I'll take it, fine. I've been using it ever since. I saw somebody refer to it as a kid's phone, just a very basic kind of phone. The battery's kind of gone. I got to use this backup battery, but it works really well. I'm a huge fan of the Honor company. This phone here's an Honor one. So I just saw the ad for the new one, which is waterproof. I saw the ad. It was great. It's a folding phone, very super thin. It's even when you close it, it's still just as thin as a regular one, but you get double the space, right? But anyways, you open it up, it's on, they put the unfolded phone open like that, it's on like, they put it in a fish aquarium. So it's in the water, it's fully submerged in the water, in the sand there, the thing's on, no problems, the thing is still on, and you got the goldfish calmly swimming by. Oh, that's great, oh my God. Because sometimes I'm near the water or if it's raining, I'm always worried about the thing. It's super thin, it's super light, and it's water. The main thing, it's waterproof. And it's got a good battery, they say, and some other extra features like that. But it's light and thin, and it's waterproof. Oh my God, what a great phone, yeah. And maybe I'll discover some new options around it or something. So I'm just preparing for when this thing conks out on me. So remember, narcissist looks into the pool of water. He sees himself. It's just all one like that. That's code for that the baby thinks it's all about him. It's all one like that. He's in love with himself, in a blissful feeling. He's entranced like that. Wow. Now what do we see in that story? He's stuck there. What about his soul? His feeling self. Well, Echo is like Snow White and Rapunzel and all that. So she was exiled like that. Far away, and we see an echo of her. Like echo means an echo of the distant soul, like that. So echo is the echo of the soul, named Echo. So echo becomes a statue, means the beings is a statue. Okay, he's stuck in a little white flower like that. So that's an image of trauma. Okay, narcissists and echo are not like outer characters in some kind of outer story like that. They're personifications of inner elements. The inner element of symbiosis is the narcissist flower with the mirror. Okay? The personification of the beingness being frozen, turned to stone, the echo becomes a statue. That's the inner element that the feelings are dried up like that. Can't feel. And he's addicted to, it's all about him. It's all about him, his feelings are frozen. And narcissists, and in the myth, we never see any kind of reunion. We never see any reintegration and re-owning and re-accepting of the feelings. He ignored it. He was a Peter Pan his whole life. He was a Playboy his whole life. He was Don Juan his whole life. A Peer Gynt his whole life. Well, in the Peer Gynt story, there's a little bit of an evolution. So in the Peer Gynt story, at the end of life, he said, hey, wait a minute. I've never been to me. Solvik, are you me? Where have you been all my life, Solvik? Solvik said, you gotta be kidding me. You ignored me. He's an old man, and the story ends. So we played the song, Solvik's Song by Elizabeth Grunner, one of our few opera songs. We have an opera section. Elizabeth Grunner or Grunner, Grunner. I think there are 2 dots over the U. Grunner or Grunner. How do you pronounce that? Grunner, something like that. She does my favorite cover of Solvik's Song. By the way, the best animated film, or the best film period, for the Peer Gynt story is the one done by Vadim Kirchevsky. Hard to find, 1979, animated film, 30 minutes long. It was on YouTube, I don't know about now anymore. Now we all know about in the opera version of it, the composer Edward Grieg did all that great music about it. So there's a great music and there's a great soundtrack to the opera version of the story. And in the opera version, there's a song called Solvik's Song. Very nice, sweet kind of song. It's kind of like the soul. It's kind of like an echo were talking about her condition. So Solvik is like echo. And but at least in Peer Gynt, He admitted it. He realized he was always chasing his false self, his neurotic self, his defensive self, not his real self. His real self was missing. The Solvik was his real self, his embodiment, his real self. So he was in this delusion that he can repeat, be a playboy his whole life. Empty, meaningless, shallow, jungle of survival, jungle slogans, dumping others the way his mother dumped him, dumping others the way his mother dumped him. Okay, this is stupid stuff. He's infantile, he's petty. Okay, he's got this billboard. Okay, he's attached to the mother. He's never authentic. He's in rebellion to the mother. Being rebellious to the mother, it's not your authentic self. His authentic self was reclaiming Solvik, but he ignored Solvik. Solvik was sort of in the distance like that all the time. Now, another update is the song played up here in the mall here. I've Never Been to Me, a one-hit wonder from the 80s by Charlene. She said, oh, I might still have a part of, hold on a second. A part of the lyric, wait, here it is. A part of the lyric is, please lady, don't just walk away, because I have this need to tell you why I'm all alone today. I can see so much of me still living in your eyes. Won't you share a part of a weary heart that has lived a million lies? I never knew I'd be so bitter from all this lifestyle. I never knew I'd be bitter being a she-wolf my whole life. I spent my life exploring subtle W-H-O-R-I-N, fill in the G, yeah, fill in the fill in the blank, which is it costs too much. So she was a she-wolf her whole life, some kind of the song in the song she brags about some of her escapades. Oh, she slept with a king one time. She went to all these luxurious resorts, all these beautiful islands or whatever. So she called it paradise like that. You know, I've been to paradise-ical kind of places. I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me. I've never been to me. So she never had human love. She never had human affection. She was just a playgirl, Peter Pan, a Puella, dumping men because the mother dumped her. Now, she's alluring to the men, so she's going to attract the wolf because the man wants to know that the mother dumped her. So he's attracted to women who will dump him because he was dumped. She's the dumper because she is trying to know that the mother dumped her. So the she-wolf and the wolf attract each other like that. This jungle love stuff, no matter how many crates of papaya you get next day and you can pile them out, it doesn't heal, it's not human love. Now you young lady, you're married, you have a kid and you're thinking about leaving, don't do it. You have human love. The playgirl lifestyle is jungle love, it's lizard love, it's just survival stuff. And you think it's exciting because you get the little white flower all the time. It's an addiction like that. And this drug becomes your food like that. It's a meaningless, shallow, empty life. You're in a swoon, time passes by, you're always in defensive mode. You've never been to me. You ignore Echo, you ignore Solvik, you ignore Snow White, you ignore Rapunzel, you ignore your beingness. Don't do it, lady. Please, lady. And she's about to walk away. Well, who are you, old lady? You're some bitter old mean she-wolf. I don't want to listen to some old miserable she-wolf. Yes, I'm an old miserable she-wolf. I get it. But please, won't you share a part of a weary heart that has lived a million lies? Well, I'm different. I'm not going to live a million. Oh, yes, you are. I'm just like you back then. You're just like me back then. Let me help you. Let me do something good here. Let me be generative. Let me learn something. Let me do something useful for a change. Let me save somebody's soul for a change, because you'll remind me of me. And I'll see you as a proxy me back then or something. It doesn't work. You can spend your whole life being a subtle WH, etc. It's empty, it's shallow. You can go to all these places, but you'll never be to you. I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me. And we can borrow the song by Randy Crawford. Okay, we did another song later on. Another song we did was a Randy Crawford song, When I'm Over You, about the grief. So she had this grief, this albatross waiting on her, the albatross. Okay, Route 66, albatross, 25 and the third one down about the albatross. Similar idea. I'm setting free the monkey, meaning this clinging weight, like this. You can't grieve, right? It's sadness like that. And now you're in Route 66. You know, she was on a motorbike zipping down the highway like that, and she had the fantasy that behind her was another motorbike chasing her, and on that other motorbike behind her was her own grief trying to catch up with her. She was afraid to let her own grief catch up with her, so she went faster and faster, more manic and more manic, trying to escape her feelings like that. So this is like this weight like that, this albatross thing like that. It's kind of like the monkey thing. I'm setting free the monkey. And the lions too, the Italianic feeling, the revenge feeling against the mother. Unattended dreams will breathe new life. Yesterday's child will grow up wild, and there will be a moral to the story. Not a bad little song as well. Randy Crawford, When I'm Over You. Yeah, another song like that. Not a big hit, eh? Was it a hit? I don't know. There's a twinge of melancholy or sadness in it as well, yeah, which makes sense. I'm setting free the monkeys, I'm setting free the lions too. When I'm over you. So when a person forgives the mother, you're over it. But how do you forgive the mother? Saved by understanding. Play Rick Emmett, Saved by Love. Okay, I've just changed it. Saved by understanding. If you can understand why the mother didn't love the baby, why the mother betrayed the baby, why she failed the baby, the greatest hurt of all, mother failed me, attachment trauma, why, understand, story, detective. These quotes are giving you a lasso of truth, a lasso of truth. Another new song added to our soundtrack is the one by Oma Wumi, a Nigerian singer, off her album called Lasso of Truth. It's a fun techno, something maybe they play out there, maybe, I don't know, techno thing up there. It's a fun techno song. It's one of the few modern electronic kind of songs. I can't quite fully make out the lyrics, so that song is an exception. I have it there just for the fun of it all. But the album title, Lasso of Truth. You see, if you can get the lasso of truth, come on, mother, give me the key. Put the lasso of truth under the key, under the pillow, pull up the key. You got to understand that the mother used the baby to meet her needs. That's the key. You got to get the truth. You got to get lasso of truth. Get the key. Get the key. The knowledge that the mother used the baby to meet her needs. Why? Because the mother had the narcissism issue. The mother didn't get the oneness, the egg, the symbiosis. So she had to make it all about her. Everything's about her. She felt entitled, mother's rights. And a lot of mothers say, oh yeah, I gave you life, it's my right. I'm the one who gave you life, I can do what I want. And it's just kind of arrogant, hateful attitude like that. They feel so entitled like that. Okay, so now we can play the clip Now Voyager, the classic film Now Voyager. There's a scene in there with Mrs. Vale, who played an abusive mother, a narcissistic mother who felt entitled to brutalize her daughter, Charlotte, played by Betty Davis, right? Betty Davis ended up with a nervous breakdown and all this. Shrink had to be called in. Well, shrinker man, fix my daughter here. She's not taking care of me. Well, she's not giving me my supply here. She's failing in giving me my daily supply here. She's supposed to serve me and take care of me and do things for me and sacrifice herself to please me. And so now she's upset. She's not doing her job. Shrinker man, fix her. Shrink stepped in and says, oh my God. Why are you doing this to her? My right, mother's rights, it's my right. Whoa. Okay, he stepped in and said, okay, strongly stepped in and said, no. Now, your daughter is a human being who has rights, to have feelings, to have a soul. Okay. She wants to grow in her own feelings, kind of like a soil, so you can blossom like that. When you're talking about agriculture now or horticulture now, she kind of made a joke like that. So long story short, she finally grudgingly came around because the shrink is the family shrink and all this or something, medical doctor like this. So when he put a wedge between the two like that, now Voyager, said to Charlotte, now he gave her a little piece of paper there from the Walt Whitman's poem, now Voyager, seek thou forth and find yourself. Go, run, take off. Take off, escape, flee, get out of here, take off, turn the engine, Route 66, go. Okay, that's back to this one here, the lion. Where is it again? Go, run, like a bear's chasing you. This might help your body to realize more quickly that you are in fact safe and finish the trauma since you have escaped. Go, escape. Run, go like that, right? Seek thou forth and find yourself. So now she had that permission by the shrink like that, who functions kind of like a substitute father, I guess, in that situation. So the rest of the film is Snoozeville. It kind of contradicts this, it kind of counteracts the message. But that key scene with the shrink is very good. By the way, the actor who played that shrink played the opposite role in, we discussed the fantasy film entitled The Piper of Hamelin, the fantasy musical, terrible music. And that guy actually sang in it. Oh my God, it's terrible. None of the songs were good. It was a pitiful musical. But it was about the fairy tale. So we did an analysis of that one. You know, I like Inside Out too. So he played a guy who rejected the feelings. In Now Voyager, that actor played somebody who saved the soul. In the Pied Piper story, he rejected the soul. Opposite roles like that. Yeah, I can see some of these images. Yeah, it's still going on. I talked about these images. There's a real. Oh boy, they don't even care about what they're selling. They just want to. Yeah, let's not go down that path. I went on a bit of a rant about these disturbing, shocking, kind of horror advertisements. It's a bit of a trance logic. Scare you, then you think they're right. The baby was scared, mother's right. It's repeating that trance logic. When the baby's stunned, oh, mother must be good. It's kind of like a hypnosis thing, they say. Plus, it's a communication. They are wearing a billboard in angry rebellion at the mother by imitating the mother, by scaring the public the way they were scared. You see the people behind it saying, see, I was scared, I'm scaring you. I'm telling you I was scared. Everything's love or a cry for love. But it's stinger mode. They're hurting everybody in this mode. So it doesn't work. Nobody who's scared in the present. Well, it's a relief for them because they can externalized by the public. They're scared, then they don't feel scared. Well, they are scared, but they don't. It's a defense against awareness of it when you see others express it for you. Evocation of a proxy, scapegoating, triangle, externalization, defense mechanism. It's still a rebellion against the mother when you're acting like that. The goal of it all is the broccoli boat, the most important vegetable of all time. The broccoli image and Inside Out too. You got to get on the broccoli boat, the broccoli raft. Yep, that means say what comes to mind, just speak freely, feel safe in doing so, validate what you're saying. What does it suggest to me? What does it remind me of? I must have a very good reason for thinking this, saying this, feeling this, believing this. Go on, say what freely, what comes to mind. Okay, it's what's the hardest thing about that? What's the most painful thing about that? It's in your body somewhere. Okay, buys time. Well, if that pain could speak, well, then maybe you can free associate. Just a little trick like that or something. You want to free associate, say what comes to mind, speak freely. Okay, so now you want to be able to know what you couldn't have known and feel what you couldn't have felt. Back to the back of the mind, where the soul is frozen, and you want to get that release. Either the release is like a major one, where you got a big weeping session on this, and you feel embodied again, like okay, like that's a common one. Or maybe it's just symbolic of mini awakenings, quiet awakenings, just continuous little quiet awakenings. Just bit by bit, you do it bit by bit. So either it's bit by bit, which I think is the case most times, but sometimes it can have a bigger one, a bigger ab-reaction. So free association, ab-reaction. But first you gotta free associate. There's a fear about it, there's a resistance to doing it. And those characters were lost in the unconscious. They couldn't find the boat, they couldn't find the dock, they couldn't find the stream of consciousness. They were lost like that. finally they found it, and they were afraid to get on the boat. And somebody said, come on, for Riley, for the soul, for the healing, for nature, for the heart, come on, for Riley here, for the soul, in a drive for healing. So yes, it's a relief. It's a relief to say, it's a relief to feel to say what you really feel. It's a relief to speak the truth. The truth will upset you free. It's a freeing kind of experience. It's called catharsis, purification, cleansing. Okay? It's cleaning, it's cleansing. So you want to do that kind of working through, suffering through process. And then there could be that release like that. That rapid react. You don't control it. It just happens spontaneously. But the first things first. You got to suffer through it. You got to work through it. Say what comes to mind. What does this remind me of? Free association. So what you're doing in the present is an inference of the past. So now we'll talk about the present. What does it remind you of? And take it back to the source point. And now you can feel what you couldn't have felt, because now you can understand what you can't understand because of these. Because we have a lasso of truth here. A lasso of truth. These quotes build a lasso of truth. That's the theory here. And okay, let's do a little bit of tomorrow's ones. A couple of tomorrow. Okay, I'll save the Groves one for tomorrow. Okay, we did these two already. Yeah, here's another one about narcissism. By being raised by a mother with a narcissistic pattern, you were raised by someone with the emotional maturity of a small child. No wonder it was painful. It's equivalent to being raised by a toddler. So think about that. When you were a baby yourself, your mother was a traumatized baby emotionally herself. You're being raised by a woman with so much pain in her past, unresolved. It's kind of like a baby being raised by a 2-year-old or something. It's something like that. No wonder it's a mess. One symptom of the stinger personality patterns is either or thinking. Okay, black or white thinking, all or nothing thinking, everything and forget it thinking. Okay, that's like you're looking for the good breast, which is everything, the paradise. You don't get it. It's heaven or hell thinking, heaven or hell thinking. Okay, the baby can't do ambivalence. For the baby, it is either or. It is heaven or hell, everything or nothing. All or nothing attitudes are a prominent feature of stinger personalities. Extreme polarities surge forth regarding feelings. Gradations, intermediate steps, mixed feelings, under heaven, over hell, ambivalence, and the emergence of emotions in partial, manageable doses are not really part of the stinger repertoire. Instead, perfectionism is an important striving in this all or nothing thinking. For example, one client didn't want her therapist to see her as anything but perfect, and she wanted to see the therapist as perfect. Come on, therapist, you're either the perfect or you're idealized or devalued, either or. Miriam Minerbo from Brazil said about her client that the woman said to her that when she's dating a fellow, if the fellow doesn't give me everything, click, he gives me nothing. Either or. So you're still the baby looking for the good breast, symbiosis, everything, heaven, paradise. You don't get that materially, responsibly, perfect supply like that. It clicks to the other side, rejects it, and you're just repeating it like that. The balance between the client's capacity to bear feeling and the stimulation to feel has to be readdressed within the treatment relationship so that the client may attain modulated, mixed, and differentiated feeling states that were previously unavailable to him. The therapist's consistent, even presence and empathically modulated interest help make it worth the client's while to continue the struggle for increasing awareness and experience of affects. Affects it's like you don't have words yet for what your emotions are. It's something like that. If you put words to it, it's kind of like now you're getting to the feeling area. If your sensations, ache here, groan here, ouch here, that's like kind of like affect or emotion, like visceral sensation. So in the stinger person, if a feeling comes up, no, get away from it. Like they can't tolerate feelings. It's so a little impulsive like that. So manic like that. Run to the fridge, eat a cookie or something. So in other words, you're trying to help the person to be able to tolerate feelings, to accept feelings. Okay? To accept feelings, mindfulness like that. Intense feelings of anger and despair become accessible within the transference. For example, one client was starting to have a transference, and suddenly the client said to the therapist, "Oh yeah, you don't control me. No, you're not going to control me. You don't control me, therapist," exclaimed the client vitriolically to her therapist, repeating her self-experience with the mother. So now she's getting the feeling at the mother. "Yeah, you don't control me, therapist." That's what the mother did. The mother controlled her. "Yeah, you don't control me, mother." So now she's getting the feeling of the rage. Many a therapist, of course, has had the complementary experience of wondering whether a stinger client has not taken over control of them. This is a control or be controlled, right? So the angry baby wishes they could control the mother. The mother was too controlling. They wanted to fight back. "No, mother, meet my needs. I'm not here to meet your needs. You meet my needs. Don't control me." So they want to control her. To do your job, mother, meet my needs. This whole control issue. The experience of the self is an experience of feeling. Feeling opens the door not just to the pleasures and hopes of life, but also to its sorrows and tragedies. When we aim to help someone with feeling, we need to keep in mind both the central importance of the client's current position with regard to the fusing, the symbiosis, the missing symbiosis called fusing, and losing, the abandonment depression, the feeling that the baby had no mother. And the array of defenses the client is employing to tone down affective experience so as to keep these feelings away. If feeling is excluded, the impoverishment of the self becomes a way of life. So enter Karen Horney's essay called The Paucity of Inner Experiences. The paucity, the poverty of inner experiences. Then they're always externalized living because of that. It may even become a way of sleepwalking through life. Okay. So just keep in mind that people are using defense mechanisms. What are defense mechanisms? Defense mechanisms can be thought of as prosthetic devices enlisted to tone down affective experience so that neither the threat of fusion, you need it but you're afraid of it, right? You want the bliss with the mother, but you're afraid to be engulfed or abandoned by her. It's too much. So this whole complication, any feelings in that area, closeness, I'm being engulfed. Okay, alone, I'm being abandoned. So you use defense mechanisms to not feel anything. So there, she calls them like way stations, like rescue stations, band-aids or something, like a bridge on the way to maturation. Maybe the park is okay. I see a breeze. Okay, tomorrow we'll do a projective identification. this one by Mr. Groves here. This one by Mr. Groves is written in the 30s, 1930 something. It was a self-help book, a very old self-help book by Mr. Groves here. It was part of the mental hygiene movement back then. Often we say, quote, "How unfortunate it is that he does not have a better understanding of himself, for he would surely rid himself of his handicap could he see it as it really is. The having or the not having of this knowledge, often makes the difference between happiness and unhappiness in life. Some have an interest in personal experience that is so out of proportion that they have distorted their life. There is, however, the much more common mistake made by those who go the other way and ignore their inner life. They never look in the mirror. They've never been to me. It is interesting to notice that these two different types both suffer from lack of adequate knowledge of the self. The first have become aware of the fact that something's wrong, but unassisted cannot penetrate into the trouble. So some people do a lot of navel gazing, if you want to call it like that, but they're stuck there. That's because they couldn't quite get through the tunnel. They're stuck in the tunnel. They couldn't quite get through. So that doesn't mean they have self-knowledge. They're just stuck in the place of trying to get to get their soul back. So some people are just stuck in that tunnel like that their whole lives. So you're missing life like that as well. Some people just forget the whole project, don't bother. The other type, okay, so these people who say don't bother, well, people like Plato and Aristotle, etc., centuries ago taught that it was the beginning of wisdom to get acquainted with one's self. This has also been the message of Socrates to the people of his city. So whatever antics Mr. Socrates was doing, whatever silly things he was doing, apparently it was an attempt to make people reflect, to question, to be provocative, something like that. Look in the mirror. So he would be like Michael Jackson singing the song, "Man in the Mirror, Know Thyself." The happiness we all seek comes only as we make the most of our resource, meaning our authentic self, the gifts we were given. It is easy enough to realize that we can get satisfaction from our automobile, from our car, only as we know how to handle it. The same principle operates in human behavior. So if you want to get satisfaction out of driving your car, well, you got to know how to drive the car. What about driving our lives, being the captain of our own ship? But who's the captain? The unconscious self or the conscious self? The conscious self is the undeveloped. Damaged, undeveloped. We got to fix it. Then we can be the captain of our ship, drive our car. If we don't drive our car, then the puppet master is doing it, making us repeat the past, treating others the way the mother treated us in our rebellion with the mother to show her up. See, world, you see how I'm treating you? That's how my mother treated me. I have a placard, I'm showing you, protesting. I can't forgive her. What a crime. That'd be condoning her behavior and betraying how I feel by how she betrayed me. So we recently did some good quotes about forgiveness. People don't want to be happy because, wait a minute, my mother hurt me. I just let her go like that? I deny how I felt by that. I can't do that. That's one complication. And we talk about the Nashville show a little bit. Yeah, the past few videos about forgiveness were pretty good. I won't redo it here, but if you want some good quotes about forgiveness, about why it's hard to forgive. So Roger Gould's example about the obesity one, this constant idea that the parents was a criminal and you want some kind of justice, so you can't let it go like that. And some parents want to take credit, the double shame, because even if you are successful, despite that, the parents say, I did nothing wrong, see, I'm perfect. Whoa. So the Nashville, there's one very good line in the Nashville show. The daughter was successful despite the mother being depressed and all that. And that mother came around and said, daughter, you know what? Everything you've accomplished, all that you achieved, that's all you. Nothing with me. It's despite of me. It's all you. You did all that. All that credit is yours. You did all that. That was good. My guess is she became successful because she sensed there was some goodness in the mother in that area, although she had her problems like that. Some people don't want to be successful because they think the parent's going to say, I'm going to take credit. That means how good I am. Come on, parents, you hurt me. I managed to still be successful. Now you want to take credit, that's a double insult. No, I can't do that. That's too much of a betrayal. That's too much of a betrayal. That's like letting the criminals off the hook like that, a huge injustice like that. I tried to be happy despite what you did, but now you want to take credit for that? I don't want you to take credit for that. It's all state dysfunctional. So you're still in that kind of place. And a few other points. Roger Gould has said, it's time to stop. What was it again? The billboard. Stop using your overweightness as a billboard of protest. They think they're advertising that they have to fight off the mother. Back off, mother, and they control themselves with a barrier like that or something. Any dysfunction is considered a billboard flashing like a protester at a rally or something. Some injustice. So whatever dysfunction you have, that's like the protest against the mother, showing the mother, look at my dysfunction. Who did this to me? I'm not going to be happy until I get some justice here. Well, you got to go on a second journey to be a detective, to find out why the mother did that. Why was the mother a criminal? Why was the mother quote-unquote criminal? She wasn't a criminal. She was in pain. She was in pain. She was crying for love. In the confusion, she tried to get love. So she grasped for love from wherever she could. So she had the baby. In her narcissistic entitlement, she thought she had the right, mother's rights, she said, to gobble up the baby, to parentify the baby, to make the baby respond to her and give the mother narcissistic supply. It doesn't work. No matter how much supply the son or daughter gives the mother, it's not going to cure her. She'll still get sick. It doesn't work. She's just in defensive mode, and she's addicted to it. She's dependent on it, and she's aggressive like that. And she set it up in advance to know your buttons, to keep the supply coming. So she sews all these buttons in so she can keep pressing it to get the supply. So the mother was desperate to get the attachment. So the baby was crying. So the mother as a baby was colicky. She was crying and screaming and wailing. She was doing she's still in that kind of mode. Come on, supply. Mother, attach. Okay, again, the two words here, the two main key words in all of this. Drum roll, please. Blinking light, please. Flashing light, please. Attachment trauma. That's the whole thing. That's the whole project here. We got to heal from attachment trauma. So ride the broccoli boat, have reaction, and you did it. You need a lantern, a lasso of truth. These 10,000 quotes for the price of half a cup of coffee. Let's see, what time is it? Maybe I can go out for a bit. Oh, it's 5 o'clock. You're kidding. It's 5 o'clock already. You gotta be kidding. I've only been here for 3 hours. I started at 2, right? You're kidding. I thought it was like 2 o'clock here or something. 3 o'clock. I I didn't realize that I started so late. Okay, let's go to the park for a little bit and wind out, wind it up there. Oh, there's gonna be music there, so yeah, let's go. Oh no, they're setting up for some event downstairs. I noticed that. That must be it. Okay, give me about 5 minutes to walk over to where the fountain is, and we'll just finish up there a little bit. Yeah, hold on a second. I'm gonna be lazy. This is my nice new chair. Look at that, eh? Light as a feather, this chair. It's great. Oh, is it raining? Is that what it is? I'm not sure what this is. Okay, thanks. Thank you. Oh, it is raining. Okay, that's why I need the waterproof. That's why I need the waterproof phone for days like this. We're gonna find some shelter. Let me get the umbrella. Hold a second. Yeah, I need that water. I need that waterproof phone. I don't have to worry about it. Worry about the water. Let me see if I can use this chair as an umbrella. How about like this? Okay, hold on. Let's wrap it up here. Spend a few minutes. Oh, we talked about the pyramid a few times. Oh, go to the last video and the one prior. We talked about the pyramid. The triangle issue. So there's different versions. The drama triangle, or the Karpman triangle, or the 3 points of an interpretation. The pattern when it began and a live example, or Masterson's axiom. Self-activation triggers abandonment depression, which leads to defense. And I think there's another one in there. Yeah, let's see, is it raining? I'm worried about getting water on the phone like that. Yeah. Well, today's video. How was today's video? I felt like today wasn't too bad. Yeah. I've been having some good luck doing it here. Yeah, this is my 4th time here. Yeah. I think we did 4 solid videos here, more or less. I didn't cover all the material this time around with the trance logic and the scapegoating. I just mentioned it briefly. But I think the source point of this narcissism business is the mother didn't get that oneness. It's missing, and she's always looking for it. And she's stuck in that place in the uterus where she didn't get the blissful oneness, needs the blissful oneness. Where's the blissful oneness? Didn't get it. Constant craving makes it about her, Not in a place to have empathy or feelings for others, just makes it about her. And finds some way to do it. It's a survival attitude. It's a survival, quote-unquote, survival food like this for her. It's a neurotic structure. It's a pain like that. Wants to have this hope to get it, disappointed, hope, and she's stuck with this loop. So every time she gets something, it disappoints, get it again, disappoints, get it, so she can live a million lies. She's still depressed, it doesn't work. So once again, you gotta pause. Wait a minute, this constant disappointment, why am I disappointed? Is this for me to know that I was disappointed if I keep replaying this in the one, either as the disappointer or as the disappointee? Am I just replaying this somehow to know it? Like every time they go to the slot machine and it was promised and allured, they were disappointed. Well, the mother was alluring and promising, she disappointed. Yeah, the booze was promising, disappointed. The pint of ice cream was promising but disappointed. Nothing in the present can give you the love that was needed back then in the nursery time. But we're acting kind of like we're still in that mode, as if we're trying to get it, so we're always disappointed. Now, when it's too severe, you don't play yourself in the disappointment. You play the aggressor and see others as you, and you disappoint them. Same kind of stuff. It's more perverse that way. It's more harder to see that it's you like that. If you're just playing yourself. Yeah, so back to the clingers. If trauma's post 18 months, when they play the record, they play themselves and self-fulfilling prophecy, they're going to get disappointed again. Then that's for them to know and get their story, to remember that they were disappointed. If the stingers do it, well, the way they're treating others, that's for them to know how the mother treated them, because they became her due to attachment theory. They must have a mother. So you got to make these kind of inferences. Then you realize the truth. You didn't get mother's love. You're not going to get it. You're never going to get it, either directly or perversely by refusing in others, which was never available to others anyways, but you just want to refuse yourself because you're the mother who refuses. You're stuck in this thing. Now you can be addicted. You can be proud about it. You can think it's so important. You can create rationalization, excuse, rationalization, all you want. It's the soul is still, Snow White. Sleeping in a coffin, Rapunzel in a tower, etc. The soul is still missing. I've never been to me, she says. Okay, that's the whole thing. We're trying to have our me. Who am I? Me. Authentic me. We're trying to get back the authentic self. Living your whole life with the false self, you're missing your true self. Jesus, that's an unlived life, right? He calls it like a zombie kind of thing, basically. The swoon, you're in a trance like that. Oh, this is a lucky break, yeah. This is a lucky break here. This is perfect conditions. The temperature, I can deal with it. And the kids aren't around for some strange reason. Usually they're around by now. Oh wow, let's just enjoy this outdoor chance here. There's not too many green parks around where I am, so I have to take the SkyTrain here. Hold on a sec. Yeah, there's the famous fountain here. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the different types of... Yesterday we talked a little bit about the humor thing. Yeah, with the candid camera stuff, yeah. The candid camera is a quick, vivid exhibition, display of the humor process. Benign violation of your expectations, little tense, little confusion. You get the answer, smile, you're on candid, and you laugh like that. So the first part is a little benign tension. Okay, of your expectations. What's that? A pizza only this big? Shouldn't a pizza be like that? A pizza, give me 10 of them. What's going on here? So all these little tricks they're doing in candid camera, just fun little stuff, nothing too serious. So it's benign like that, a little tension like that. So they only chose people who didn't realize they were on candid camera for at least a period of time, so they could say, "Surprise, you're on camera." Then you feel safe. So everything's okay, it's not what you were worried about, you feel safe, so you're gonna laugh like that. And we're all watching it, we're feeling the same process, so we're all gonna laugh like that. So the first part of the joke, benign tension, but it's benign. Then you feel safe from the safety, from the previous tension, safety. From the safety clicks the release mechanism called laughter like that. That's the general thing about it. Now we take it a step further. If the stinger mode, they laugh based on that psychic structure. The clinger mode laughs on a more playful structure where it's not at anybody's expense, because they don't need to feel the pain relief of shaming others the way the stingers laugh in the shaming humor. The clingers laugh when everyone's a little better off humor, a little playful irony or something. So we did the pigeon joke. Yeah, go to the pigeon joke yesterday. Yeah, go to yesterday around at the end of the video, also in the park like this. We did the pigeon joke. I won't do it again here, but if you want a good joke about a pigeon, check out yesterday. Oh, I feel the rain coming. Yeah, okay, just as well. Okay, I feel the rain coming. I gotta turn this off here. I'm worried if even one drop of water gets in the top here, it'll be wrecked, right? Oh, it's pouring, it's coming down. Okay, for the love up there to medicine, for the love of strange medicine. Thanks very much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.